Good evening and welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight you're joining us for a NACE Starleague Valorant match. Boise State going up against Irvine Valley. We've already got the map choices all selected. We've got the players. Now we just need the casters, and that's where we come in. Jacob Palmer and Greg Smith ready to call all the action for you here today. So the good news is, in the map choice, I'm told we know what to expect. The bad news is we know what to expect because these are the two most common stages ever that they've chosen to play first.
It's true, much to my grief, and I'd love to see something exciting and new, but I guess we're going to see something excited and truly time-tested because it's going to be Boise State picking the defense on Haven, one of their most comfortable maps, coming in second place for the maps because we will see a second map is going to be Ascent. And that one's also one that we're pretty comfortable on, so we're going to see a lot of tried and true tactics. But it also, and I love saying this, gives us a feel for how are we going to play against different teams. So we haven't seen Irvine on this map this week, so we'll get that.
University of Irvine, a team that Boise State has gone up against in the past. And Coach Moore was telling me, they think that over the course since the last time that they've met this team, they think Boise State has gotten maybe a little bit better, and Irvine Valley said maybe not quite as much. So maybe the gap in skill has been filled, but we're going to find out tonight how that all pans out.
That's good, and we're excited to see that gap in skill because both teams right now in our bracket are 5-1. We both took a loss to Oklahoma Christian, and that's been it on the record so far. So we're guaranteed either second or third place, so this will be fighting for seat and for glory.
Well, if they want to fight for glory, they're going to have to play well. And to play well, they got to follow Doc's Keys to the Game, brought to us by Drop In Gaming. And Doc's Keys to the Game in Valorant are going to be to focus angles and flank, know your win condition, count cards and call abilities, and of course, click heads. Doc's Keys to the Game brought to us by Drop In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. Begin your competitive gaming journey at dropingaming.com. We also have a chance to look at the opening lineup for Boise State. The players that are going to be competing here tonight. And it should be the lineup that we have gotten to know very well over this spring semester. And that includes such a excuse me, that includes such a, I'm trying to find the word, such dependable choices. That's what I was looking for. Such dependable choices as we have Damio, who already shows up. I mean, all the players are right behind us, so we'll see their names pretty soon. But overall, I also have to say, so why do you think Haven is probably one of the most comfortable maps for Boise State?
I think if one thing, it's just trial and error, right? As long as you keep winning on it, why try something else? Another thing is just practice. I mean, also it's beautiful. Just look at that. It's a map that everyone's got a long time of practice on because it's not one of the new maps. And we talk about kind of how fast the meta can shift on these newer maps when someone finds a bug or someone finds a way to cheat the system. Every time a new agent comes out, there's kind of nerfs and buffs that process that each map has to go through. But this one has been tested, it's been figured out, and it's kind of reached this equilibrium that we're comfortable playing on. I think also, once you've kind of picked a favorite map, you tend to just put that kind of practice on it, and it continues to be your favorite. Like, why build a new favorite when you've got this one and it's doing us so well? And it has done us pretty well. I mean, we've played it consistently, and it's gotten us the 5-1 score that we have now, and it's gotten us a guaranteed position to start fighting for seats in the next round.
Well, so I think you were onto something when you said, why go for something new when you've got your dependable favorite, because the two maps that happen to be banned just so happen to be Lotus and Pearl, so the two newest ones.
Yeah, it sounds like Irvine has a pretty similar function towards choosing their maps. Yeah, those were the first bans, and I'm sure they were quick bans. Boise State has chosen the defense on this map, and similar to most of the Valorant maps, it's pretty defense-sided. I mean, it is a little bit tougher having all of your defense split between these three maps, but it's so easy to rotate between them. Falsing out the information is more difficult. I mean, it's hard to fake a site and then shuffle all the way over to a new one when it doesn't have this kind of dynamic and high-paced feel that some of the newer maps do. I mean, some of the newer maps are so connected. Take Fracture, for example. There's 3 doorways into every site, and they all go straight to another one. And if that wasn't fast enough, there's a zip line that takes you from literally opposite ends of the map. And there's just nothing like that here. And it's interesting that they were able to create almost a slow feel to this map, which they had to do because this was the most connected map for its time, having all 3 sites. So it's understandable why, if you're going to choose a favorite map, it would be this one. And honestly, it's probably my favorite map too. And for a long time, I wish they had played it more. And now we get to see my fill of it.
Now we get to see those dependable players I was talking about. Skies, Aldum, J-Bag, Rariana, I'm sure too. Boise State starting out on defense. As we can see, the picks that are starting to be brought out by Irvine Valley. Boise State tends to be a team that favors ghosts pretty darn heavily in the first pistol rounds, but that doesn't seem to be the case with Irvine Valley. We're only seeing 1 ghost being picked.
Yeah, Boise State's comfortable and confident in those head-clicking abilities. Look at this, though. Skies, well, it's a little bit confusing. Sky, being played by Aldum, has chosen the Frenzy, so they could be feeling a little bit hotter on the run here. Sure enough, it's a big push in. Playing all together, looking to get some heads and get out some early attack. Skies playing back after getting a lot of foresight. Irvine Valley showing their face here with a pretty big A. Short ammo on push after a flash. 1 going down on either side. Gain to take the first one. Aldum to take it back. Ola rearing his head for the beginning. He was a formidable foe to be sure, and a top fragger by a long shot last semester when we played them. He'll be definitely the one to deal with in Irvine Valley, finding their first point, only losing 2 in the fray.
Well, it's not too much that you can glean from the first round because we've seen games go long many a times before. But I would say that Irvine Valley doesn't seem to have lost their steps. They were able to take those team fights a bit better. Boise State was also pretty even with Irvine Valley. The face-off in A-Lawn was 2 apiece, so you can't really say that, oh, we were facing, you know, a 1-on-2 or something like that. It was just overall Irvine Valley was able to perform better. One of them's actually gone for a Vandal, which is quite interesting for round 2.
Interesting indeed. It's kind of telling them we're going to win this and we're going to take the bonus up. It would be devastating to the econ for that man if Irvine Valley goes down here, and Sky's looking to make that happen as he divides Bola from the rest of the team. No corners checked here. The disrespect as he finds 4 in a row.
What even is that?
What an upset. Unfortunately, the one person holding a different gun. No, an ace, a second round ace to totally flip. What a switch. This is not the momentum that we were expecting at all. Irvine Valley much the same. Just as I was saying, he's kind of putting a big wager on round 2, buying up so heavily.
I'm sorry, what?
Look at the disrespect as he jumps in front of their 4-man, meaning that they think they can't check the angles because he's already done it. So to save time, they run right ahead, and look at this. 1 missed shot empties the roster.
What?
And watches his corner so well. What a shutdown, running straight into .3. I'm sure that has shook Irvine Valley, and Boise State showing why they grabbed the ghosts first, and the judges first. They've been practicing. They've been up on stage since before I got here. They're ready to out this with heat, and through the smoke, Rariana finding another 2.
Oh, that was a well-placed swarm grenade. All of Irvine Valley shuffled into the doorway. Now Rariana's going to be moving in with a gun advantage as well. And just a bit of peeking back between him and Volk. As soon as the smoke drops, lightning-fast reflexes. Rariana up to a triple.
And with little watching their back, one man is cornered while another one approaches, but oh!
One enemy remaining.
There's the takedown. Rariana, a 4th kill. He's Cobbler finding their worth, but it's not enough for Rariana to take his ace.
Wait, what?
Boise State.
Wait, hold on a minute. Just stop. Can I get a breathing moment here? I'm sorry. Back it up. Beep, beep, beep. Let's just calm down. Need to put a pause on here. Everyone pause. Can we just pause? Because we have 2 back-to-back aces. Well, Skies and Rariana, what am I even watching now?
I think they're back there drawing straws out of a hat. It looks like it's J-Bag's turn to ace this round. That's right. It looks like a full push on the ace side. Boise State, after trying to arrest any foolish pushes down the same corridor, is now leveling out their defense. It feels like a more typical round. Hopefully, for Irvine Valley, it's a more typical round. But man, what a standoff as they just stood there waiting for the smoke to drop. One man with the spike in his hand and no defense. Boise State now comfortably playing into this
Spike
site.
planted.
Spike's going to head down. Rariana, no doubt due to that ace, already has this Killjoy all set up, is going to throw it out. Getting his post-plant mollies lined up as well. The Killjoy's going to be destroyed. Around the corner, isn't able to take that one.
It's, oh, Bola takes the second one. Oh, and Danny to find his one. Bola, the catalyst for a kill by Murky and a kill by Danny, unsuspected. There was just a bad timing there. Sky's on the retreat now, looking to save his operator, an understandable position considering. But wow, what a pacing. I mean, it should have been an easy playoff contact to take care of Bola, but Bola stood his ground and found another point, and now the hunt is on. They're gonna find this man. He's gotta look for at least an outro to save the op. And here they come flying right around. The Wunderkind Shorty.
Oh my goodness, that was a few seconds.
Ooh, showing off his hours. Yeah, sure enough. Decides to play it safe and doesn't even look for the outro.
Now, the one thing you have to keep in mind is Boise State, yes, that was a loss, but it's not going to be too much of a big econ loss because essentially they had almost everything given to them for free in those last 2 rounds. So Irvine Valley does have the credits advantage, however, off of that win. So Boise State, if they don't win this, they're going to be looking at an eco round pretty darn soon.
Very true.
Going to see the Hawk thrown out, just trying to get any sort of information through lobby. Irvine Valley right now.
Look at this front foot defense. They're looking almost into a pinch position. If they're comfortable walking into this box, they may make it through the smoke on timer alone. Defense on B.
Out of charges.
Feeling fairly back foot to balance this forwardness on A. They could give up the space if they'd like to, but C, an Iron Fist holding it. Now, Irvine Valley, whether they know it or not, is kind of stuck in the middle of the map. It's a nice playground to play on, but that grass is no way to take a round. They've got to force up into box, even though they're surrounded.
A lot of util being thrown out. Bombot does not discover J-Bag until the very end. He is going to move that. He's not even going to shoot it.
They've given up that space, and now, speaking of space giving up, they turn tail and run straight out of A long, almost not making it down Banana. It's a good thing that utility stopped Irvine Valley from pushing when they did, but what a way to say pushing stopped. Only 40 seconds left on the clock, and Irvine Valley hasn't seen a sight yet.
I think those 2 aces have kind of thrown them off their game because they are playing very cautiously, or maybe they're just playing diligently because they don't want to make another mistake, and I'd say that's a good start, but it's a trade 1-for-1.
Sky's to take one and runs in the corner, now being absolutely assailed. Can anyone get to their aid? It's not going to happen. Danny will find one. Now J-Bag a little bit late on the return. Has to fight against an entire site. But look, all he has to do is stall. It can't happen. 11 seconds left, and he finds the plant. He's able to play one. He's going to ignore that corner. Ooh, sure enough, 2 hidden in the corner are going to find him. What a stack they had. I'm sure he didn't expect several people to be hanging behind the flimsy defenses of the shiny box.
Well, all right, now that things have calmed down a little, Irvine Valley is back in the lead. Boise State, you see Damio picking as a Vandal, but I think he's the only one who's really going to go for an AR at this time. Everyone else wants to do kind of a full save. So
I think you're right. I mean, Sky, Aldum on Sky didn't even have shields, full shield last round because he was holding that op, which he had saved from the round before. I mean, the crippling credit situation is felt, and look at this, much more high pace. Boise State a little bit overextended on C long, but Rariana holding up that push anyways, fighting every last little ounce of util being thrown at him. They start to assail back, trying to really secure the ground that they've taken. It looks like it works. Gonna retreat from C. The battle is fought somewhere else. Bola, another one.
Satchel around the corner. Remaining 2 Broncos are very low on health. I don't think they'll be able to retake this point, but I found that very funny. The exact same spot that ace happened last time. Irvine Valley wasn't letting that space go unchecked this time. It was immediate.
Yep.
They already seem to know that Rariana is up in heaven.
For something, it was a little bit slow, and he can't repeat that. He's got to give it a second to cool down. His one other teammate will be creeping in on similar side, trying to check every angle. A little bit of pre-fire is a safer check. Wow, what a bait! Gets that man exactly where his crosshair was. Dying Daimyo, understanding the game mechanics, goes out for another one. Can't quite trace it. Murky to find him. Ariana now last alive.
He did not last alive. I didn't know he was down to just 1 health. Yeah, that's a bit of a pickle.
What a position to save in. Looks like he does not want to be carrying very much over into the next round. Better to take the ult point than to give another man the creds for a death. So, up to 2 ultimates on either side. Boise State.
Here's the part I'm concerned about is I'm more concerned about Daimyo right now. I mean, yes, he got 1 pick on that Vandal, but it was just so much in the face of what the team was going to do. Are they going to be able to bail him out? Yes, it does look like. Okay, so it does look like they had that calculated, although Skies is going to be forced on to half shields again with the op.
It's true, going back for that op on the half shields is not a great position to be feeling. It feels like pearls after swine, but you've got to keep your opponent on. Ooh, got to keep them honest. Roriana's going to start getting those audio cues as well as some visual ones as he looks down the barrel to 2 opponents coming charging up the line. Volk now held from the site only by the last bit of utility from Oriana. Oriana moving into smoke slowly. Flash is able to find one. The Boombot dealt quickly with. Pushing back down into C Long and then finding one at a time J-Back to get one. Irvine Valley now down a player. They're held in the spawn of C Long.
Also, look at this fade here. The spike holder is almost completely out of health.
That's true. They're in an uncomfortable position. They look like they're just going to pace it out a second and give it a double down onto C. Maybe a good call considering that not all of Boise State's forces are backing C right now. But the rotation.
Oh, they all get blinded.
30 seconds
Oh,
left.
now there's a whole lot of blinding being thrown out by both teams in a smoke. They're just going to get down. The problem is that Irvine Valley doesn't really have time to wait this out. Oh, that's 20 seconds. That's a really tough rotation. I don't know if they have time.
Boise State definitely didn't think they had time. We started to see Skies on the rotation, but it looks like they may be able to pull a half rotate and go for B. Another beautiful thing about this map, if you can't quite make it across the map, you only have to go halfway. The spike is now made it down, nothing else to get creds at it, and a chance to fight another fight.
Oh!
This guy's just by the shoulder, takes another one. Rariana and Big Daimyo to find their one for the round. Rariana getting in on an easy defuse against Irvine Valley. But look at those ultimates. Irvine Valley is ready to come back strong after that round. The Reds may not be feeling fantastic. They can lean on their utilities and ultimates.
I think they got enough for just 1 more full buy, and then next round would definitely be a save. I was so scared here around this peak around the corner because with the op, Sky, I was just thinking here the crosshair placement, it looked to me like he would hit his shoulder. I also think that was probably just a really good spray. I think it worked out in his favor there.
Yeah, and walking as he was closer to the angle, admittedly, he didn't know that he was the closer one to the angle, but it's just an uncomfortable position to begin in.
Continue on in NACE Valorant. A shot is going to be given out by Skies, and immediately the tailwind is going to be burned.
Nice dynamic positioning from Boise State. We haven't seen them set up in the same place too many times in a row. Keeping Irvine Valley honest and paying attention, really checking all the corners. And I mean, Irvine Valley has been shown on full display what happens if they don't check their corners. So Irvine Valley has been told to respect Boise State going forward, but they're still up a point as it is. Boise State ahead with the creds here, coming after a recent win with an op in hand.
All right, we're going to have paint shells thrown out. Oldham
You
moving
should
down
run.
this corner, marks it. There goes a Killjoy. Oh, my goodness, he's getting hit through the smoke. This is so gutsy.
Oh.
Well, okay, that's...
What could have been a
I mean, not every play can be
30
an ace.
seconds left. Spike planted.
Sometimes you just got to recognize that.
And hopefully this isn't too big a catalyst for the situation. It looks like anybody who was frozen is now off of it. So moving nice and slowly in. I don't think we've seen Bola good to check that corner again, but he rotates at just the right time and takes a double. Not a good look. Big Dime playing Daimyo today. tries to escape under fire of utility. Skies on the other side, just enough to create a crossfire, but not quite enough to go in to the Dragon's lair there.
I think they're going to play this just off of time. Maybe wait for a possible exit frag.
Yeah, an understandable call, but Irvine Valley doesn't want that to happen. So they'll be exiting through the gift shop.
I didn't know I even had a gift shop. That seems like a very modern thing for an ancient monastery to have as a gift shop.
Well, if you're going to retrofit an ancient monastery, wouldn't you put a gift shop in it?
I suppose so.
If I came back from Haven,
You
I
know,
want
I
trinkets.
might have found inner peace in my soul, but I still need still need some knickknacks to remember my
I would
visit.
love inner peace hanging from the rearview mirror when I drive.
That is true. Well, players.
I mean, look, they've got solar panels. Anyways.
It's true, I guess. But Boise State doesn't even have the crave. Even if there was a gift shop, they wouldn't have the credits to spend them on right now. They're in a save round, and yeah, Peach Cobbler just.
Oh, again, yeah, Aldham just standing right next to the angle. Irvine Valley just taking Boise State to school on geometry.
Oh.
This guy's just a frame too late, but still a very threatening position to pose. Scares them off from A side entirely, and as they make the big rotation, I think the audio cues go out. As a spy standing in the window of B. Hear that rotation, so Boise State now poised to accept the fastball
Spike
form
plant.
of a quick plant off default, and Bola standing high. J-Bag entirely smoked out of the sight, and 3 more in the back door looking to find a way in, but sightlines are straight.
Oh.
Volk just a second quicker than Big. Oh, what?
Oh, the collateral!
Standing.
Rariana with that cookie flicker finger is
Oh,
able to find
my
one for free
goodness!
again. And it's a low health fight between him and Omen, but there's a fade on their side. Can he find the double and close the round? Distracted only slightly by that utility. Decides to walk into the smoke, but it's a one-way. His kick's still showing. They fight him by the shoes.
I mean, hey, it was a 5-on-1 for
Yeah,
it to
what
be
can we ask?
that good. I mean,
You know
but
what?
this,
2 of his teammates got a 5-on-1.
you know, I was trying to give him some credit. You know, you just threw the biggest amount of
Hold
shade
him to a
possible.
high standard.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, Boise State now back to a full purchase. You know, I gotta say they've had very expensive choices so far throughout this round, especially with that op. But consistently throughout all these rounds, Boise State has been the first one to be picked off. So I don't think this op strategy is really working out for them.
Skies. More natural approach to the op. It's down to 1 knife. It's going to be flashed out. Looking to hold the ground. Still plays forward anyways. Just taking the util on 1 at a time. But it's all a gimmick. Irvine Valley disrespectfully throwing util where it doesn't belong. Not rotating A at all. Aldham under serious fire now as the real cards are shown. They're going to be playing again towards C. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Big Daimyo going down to Murky in a battle of the Omens, and Bola to find another one with the ult. Still just 1 knife left in the chamber, but Danny
Spike
finds
planted.
J-Bag in midair. That's got to be an achievement. Sky spins that knife well, but he can cash out all the hot cash he gets from that last purchase. He goes down with a fresh set of knives. Rariana looking to find, dare we call it an exit frag this early in the round.
Yeah, you know, who needs an exit frag, really? You know, sometimes you just want to keep the AR you have.
And what I expect to be a 3-7, Boise State is not looking great, especially considering that they're now about to be on a save situation. Rariana would love to get himself
Oh no!
a sidearm with this next
Oh
kill.
no!
Peach
Oh
Cobbler.
no!
Oh. That was almost very interesting because Peach Cobbler actually looked the wrong direction, so they were back to back for a second. There's a chance that Rariana could have taken a kill or 2 there, a kill and a collateral, and then turned before Peach did, but it didn't happen that way.
I think you're still in the, you know, 2nd and 3rd round mentality right here.
I try to be. I'm really trying to carry the momentum. cross time and space here, but the truth is Boise State's feeling more like this burning building than I hope they would be. Spike in pocket, Irvine Valley choosing their next victim. It could be C.
Oh my goodness, Mola has been a terror on this race.
As we expected them to be. Brianna again. Ooh. Chased only barely out of that site with 8 health in hand. Tries to find shelter in the much more quieter. So a short, but sure enough, they are all out. A good crossfire gets J-Bag 2 kills on the Sheriff, but he can't bonus up before Murky is able to find Ariana.
Okay, they're going to try to move over. He teleports over so he can pick up the rifle. Spike still hasn't been dropped. So a lot of time bought for the Broncos.
This urgency behind Daimyo, deciding to pull out the knife instead of reload. He needs to get down there. They're
That's
already
true.
on C site, but they could be anywhere between here and there.
I hope he remembers to reload. That's a mistake that I would make, but
Yep.
it shouldn't be a mistake that these players make. Okay, he's going to spend the teleport. Doesn't see anybody.
The recon teleport. And that's the cap.
Okay, he still has his knife out.
Oh,
damn.
okay, goes for the reload.
What are you
After
doing?
absolutely baiting us. Getting melee with this man. He knows he's got to be back there.
Oh,
Tries to turn it. Peach Cobbler takes
Peach.
2 of them. IDC. Cobbler close up. Round 11.
Last round in
Yeah,
the
it's
half.
The last round before the swap.
He was definitely trying to juggle a lot in his mind. You saw him pre-firing on the Spike to get rid of all the KJ util, but they didn't quite. The Wayne angle they didn't have in mind. Garage.
Yeah, they definitely had him in a flurry there, and it would be nice if they had had the chance to split the territory up more. But as fast as they needed to be, it was their call to play together there. Yeah, and he had to pre-fire the util. More util was thrown out at him. He has to backtrace the util to fire at where he thinks somebody could be, but then someone surprises him from behind. Very fast-paced end to the round as they try to rotate through all the way from A.
All this. I gotta say, these Prowler placements have been very good from Irvine Valley, because all these lineups that Boise State is trying to set up with these ops or the rifles, they're just really getting in the face of the Broncos waiting. They're all bunched up in lobby, slowly pushing through. We're gonna do a bit of a split up between sewers and lawn. Gonna run into some KJ util, so Ariana should be getting some good information around the corner.
Just can't hold it too much. A little bit of an explosive peak there. That Ferrari is going to go crashing into the wall. He's probably on J-Bag and all to rely on the Bola. That's a big one. Taking down that top frag. Fighting flashes like fire. Good. Have a chance for a double. Is going to find one, but it's returned. Peach Cobbler proving their worth with another one. And Murky to find Skies.
Enemy remaining.
Big Daimyo
Spike down
shuts
A.
one down, but now down in the util. Oh, and down in the intel. Cobbler, knowing where Daimyo is going to find him. Gun down his
Switching
grave out of
sides.
pure respect. Move on in the next round. It's a swap.
And here's the thing, the gunfight that I'm seeing from Boise State just is kind of falling apart a little bit right now. It seems like they're a bit jittery going back and forth. I'm seeing a lot more spraying, not as good crosshair placement. We're not seeing them line themselves up. Again, even though you're on the Phantom, you know, still a headshot does one for you. You know, it's not a one-shot kill, but you still want to keep the fundamentals of crosshair placement in your mind. And I think Boise State, you know, is really maybe going for too many spray transfers when they just need to take the clean shots.
And I think that they're put into these positions uncomfortably because of actual character placement. You know, if they were further from the walls or if they peak a little bit slower, obviously we can never know what the situation is, but Irvine Valley is giving them awkward situations to fight against. Aldo checking the place out. He's able to jump a quick concuss in, but it's going to be way slow. Utility comes out, checking the site. There is a Ariana
C.
is able to bonus the second one out of the mix. They take the site by storm. Is this going to be their chance? Remember, if they can take this one, they should have an easy shot at round 2 for the half. And if they can bonus that up.
Oh, Sky's getting a bit distracted by that robot. Takes away crosshair placement. He swings around though. J-Bag has it. One headshot. Damio's just waiting for this retake.
Oh, right between them again. There's so much tendency to, once you see two players, instead of picking one, to try to fight
One
between
enemy
them.
remaining.
And it's fractions of a second. It's so small, the difference it makes. But you can get more kills seeing one person and focusing than seeing two and being just faltering a little bit, just stumbling just a second there. But they're able to wrap it up and pull it together. Boise State takes that first round, and it's Spectres for everybody. Hopefully, it's enough to absolutely crush this round and find another one.
Hopefully none of the Broncos make a mistake that Irvine Valley did. I mean, even though Irvine Valley very handily won that first half, the one mistake that they did have was one of their players buying up so quickly into the Vandal, and then the two aces from Boise State really put Irvine Valley in a little bit of a credit bind.
Yep, and a credit snowball that we do not want to see happen.
And he tries to fake out the defuse, but Boise State takes the double peek. Well done. Oh my. Oh, this is one of those kinds of rounds. Irvine Valley all as a team. They're trying to make up the gun disadvantage with a little bit of surprise tactics.
Very scary scenario considering the Boise State now trying to play deliberately and carefully and check every angle to make sure they don't get caught in an awkward ace like they found their opponents. Irvine Valley on round 2 of the last half and looking to use their ahead to play up a little bit, fighting against a big push, but it's all right. They've made it to the post plant. They're ready to accept this force, and look at this. A backstab of backstabs. If Alden can just stave off the forces, and he sure does. One finds a second, comes around, it's okay.
No.
Look at this surrounding. One more player coming in from behind, and Boise State trying to accept the force from the front. Look at all that damage, but it's never enough.
They're all hanging on.
Between 3 is never as good as 100 on 1, and look at this last player from above. Boise State is able to find it as J-Bag takes the last shot.
Well, that's
very close.
technically
very close.
a win, but it's not going to be the cleanest bonus. Only 2 of them are going to be moving on. And a few of the Broncos are going to be forced onto a half buy as well. Some of them are considering a Stinger. We also see a Bulldog Inspector being considered.
And the Frenzy, the splurges of all budgets. The budget of all buy rounds.
That's a bit unfortunate. The Broncos going to have to go up against full ARs this round.
And Irvine Valley using that to advantage, playing the anti-eco, grabbing for them the long line sights. All of them looking to play in a close forward.
Oh, that's
where he's
beautiful.
More comfortable, but unbelievable skies. Plays a little bit fast and is going to lose that ahead, but wow, for a second he had it. He was in such a beautiful position that was not expected at all, and Big Daimyo taking so much round with that whole riddled barrel of a Frenzy.
Okay, the spike goes down.
Liliana setting it, the util.
Another swarm grenade out.
Make this site his own.
Ooh, it's going to get
Can't use that yet.
moving back. State has taken a bit more of a defensive post-plant position as Irvine Valley moves on.
Full shields.
Oh!
Melee and gets taken, but Rarion is able to find it and use that to play off contact for another one. And 3 alive as they find another point. Is this the snowball they need?
Absolutely huge round for the Broncos. They had such a huge gun disadvantage. They pick up 3 rifles from Irvine Valley. Boise State, I would say their main weakness this season, this spring semester, has been, you know, when they technically have a person advantage, these 5-on-3s, these 4-on-3s, but they aren't able to use their advantage to its fullest potential, and they get picked off one by one. But that, when they needed it most, it wasn't the case here, and now look at this huge difference in guns.
They would love to hold this momentum out to the end. You can say they started strong and they faltered a little bit, but we might be able now to chalk that up to the... Ooh. to the offense defense difference. That was a little bit scary. I was ready for that peak to come out from Irvine Valley and absolutely catch one off guard, but it never happened. Looks like they're going to be coloring inside the lines and staying in their squares here while Boise State makes their rounds to A again. And look at this backseat feel from Irvine Valley. Almost every round on the defense, Boise State was up and grabbing banana for themselves. And A-Long was something that you peeked into, not shuffled down. They're ready to give up the site first and then find it on the post plan. Irvine Valley obviously more comfortable on the attack than on the defense. It's going to make every defensive round an attack anyways by playing this backseat position. Boise State has to recognize that and be ready to play very defensive style maneuvers during the post plan.
Irvine Valley is just moving out. Oh, Boise State's Eldom has a great angle here. As long as they don't check. Oh, he's just going to stand right in that swarm grenade. No fear.
He's done his map
There
and
he
it
goes!
pays off entirely as he finds a 2-for-1. Wow, Irvine Valley, if they don't want to check a corner, they simply won't. Skies to get the final hit on Murky. And quick swap to the knife for good looks. And look at that, bringing it up to a 7v9. Calculated, and boy was he good at math.
That was any lesser player of a weaker constitution would have immediately moved out of the swarm
He
grenade.
had the flash. He could have. He could have flashed and walked right out. He could have ulted and walked out.
But Irvine Valley is just thinking, okay, we've already swarm grenaded that off. No one has to be there.
Unreal. Grabs the double and distracts the third so that they can come flying in and eliminate Murky when he has no clip and is facing the wrong way. He effectively got 3 kills off that one.
Cover going out.
Smoking off garage and see a bit. Now throwing out another blinding. Boise State moves on to C pretty darn fast.
Yeah, again, Irvine Valley totally comfortable just backing up, putting their hands in the air, and letting Boise State take the area. Now, Daimyo has got to lead the team to really set up camp here so that they can stop the Irvine Valley back on the site. It's going to be 1 kill. It's going to be 2. Bola looking hot. A little bit of damage off onto the KJ. And Bola already down to the defuse. They've taken the place by storm. Boise State off-site looking to gun down their default. They can't be there. And they take it.
They stick it.
Despite the kills.
One enemy remaining.
And 1v1 on the outro. He's going to fall, but it doesn't really matter. And a full roster of ultimates in the double digits from Irvine Valley. It's not looking good for Boise State, but in for penny, in for pound. They can close this one up if they have the resolve.
I mean, they have enough to full buy this round and possibly next. Even though this is a win by Irvine Valley, they've been losing so many rounds in a row that Boise State still has the gun advantage. So that might have been, that last round might have been a minor boo-boo, but overall, nothing the Broncos can't come back from.
A little bit of an intel scramble here as Irvine Valley kind of paces on and then paces back. They're playing much more forward in position now.
That lineup.
Wow. Beautiful lineups.
Gonna have to deal with a full amount of ultimates from Irvine Valley. One of them's going to be spent right now to teleport as well as the showstopper. Nightfall. Just about everything. Let's just clear out the point and move on.
They just dump it.
How does J-Bag even manage to get a double in those circumstances?
J-Bag not plugged
One
in, folks.
enemy remaining.
Daimyo to find another 2. J-Bag does not know he does not even care.
Well, if his monitor's not even plugged in, how did he even...
One hand. He's a Braille monitor and he just plays with the mouse.
I question your logic here, but right now Boise State is trying to win this one without question. They do. And they'll get the other plant down, get the credit bonus for that.
And look at that. They even used the Omen ultimate to TP over there for a quick rotate. Irvine Valley dumped almost a full kit on them, and Boise State played blind. Just absolutely sprinting to some hallway that wouldn't get caught in the just absolute fade sneeze. They find it. They're able to pull that round out, and now it's an 8v10.
More than that, another save round from Irvine Valley. That's 2 in a row, and you never really want to go 2 in, it's usually, full save and full buy. And if you're thrown off that rhythm, things can compound.
Skies to take 1 for 3 and cleans right out. It's effectively a 5v4 now as they come shuffling on to C.
Do they check this?
A lightning fast check gives Skies some info about who could be creeping around the double doors. All of his years playing Sudoku has given him incredible elimination logic, and Skies knows exactly where the last two players are. He's going to be watching through here. Plays through Shiny to find one. Strays out for the second, but he can't hold it down. Bola to be the one to take it with an up-close Marshall, but can he hold that? Big Damn with the spray transfer to find one. The last one, Volk Volk takes down J-Bag. Now Daimyo with exactly no health left in the bucket. Tries to jump behind, plays him out, and gets a little bit of damage off, but it's not enough. Volk now holding his ground as the last one alive. He can fight the last two players. Nope, it's not enough, and attackers take this one again. 9v10. Irvine Valley, though, as you're saying, is coming off of a double save and is feeling rich in the pockets despite the loss, and it's ARs for everybody.
I do have to say, I love how you were talking about the elimination that happened right here in this replay as if playing a round of Sudoku. The image of an esports athlete preparing for Valorant by playing Sudoku all their time really is, I think that's really fun.
I mean, yeah, ruling out the position. I mean, you have to say, hold on, there's a Sentinel here, and there's a controller here, and this box can only have 3 players.
After 10 months of intensive Sudoku training.
Ready to touch the mouse again.
Well, right now, Boise State isn't wasting any time moving toward B. They want a quick plant.
And it's a very structural formation here. Look at this. Everybody looks like they're another link in the chain. They get the plant and they get out. Everybody watching the back of another player. They're not going to let anything happen. Cobbler goes missing. Oh, my God.
Oh!
He's back, but Volk and Murky to find their one in the meantime. It's not fantastic. Boise State a little bit out on a limb here. They've left the spike open for grabs. An ultimate to the backside is shut down fast. And Skies. And then here's he plays in, finds one on the corner. So does Daimyo. The defuse is too close though. And they find him in the last second. Though they know exactly where default is, but it's not enough, and the clutch
They
comes
were
out
both
one player
spraying
on.
out in one bullet, not even fine.
Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
What a clutch there, but think about the elims.
I would rather think about the win they could have had.
Yes, it's tough. Taking the round does give them a significant credit boost, but they simply don't get to bonus anything, and Boise State was already coming off of a decent credit high. I'd love to see the tab in the next couple seconds because it could mean the game. Now that we're looking 9v11 Irvine Valley, letting Boise State know they've only got one mistake left to make.
Oh, he was just a little bit too far to the left in that spray. Ugh.
What's tough is, like, you could tell from the start that that was the entire, and Volk with the timeout here, great, because I've got a speech prepared that lasts just 35 seconds.
I want to hear this. Your 35-second speech.
You could tell just when they got there, the positioning for this play was going to be that. They built a chain right down the middle, and they got the plant immediately and then flushed back. And there were even some points where that chain was super important. People were coming out of double doors, and they were able to gun them down. There was no actual intention of staying on site or holding the site down from all 3 doors. They wanted to watch it from window. So it's unfortunate when everything played according to plan and the 2 people spraying in the smoke at the default was able to find 1 kill but couldn't find the second.
That was 34 seconds. I feel cheated. Alrighty, we are going to be heading into the next round. Now, Boise State, you were talking about the credit advantage that they have. You know, it's not inconceivable that off of that advantage they could win 2. We're still very close to 11-11, which means we're in effective overtime.
That is true. If they can find this one.
Well, Boise State's going to get blinded right off the bat. I don't know if Bola realizes what he's charging into. He gets taken out. Boise State is up to a good advantage to start things out. Gonna smoke off heaven, move in under the cover of all smokes. Go for the plant. Down a swarm grenade as is custom on the spike. They're gonna have to. Very good. Oh, yeah. Well, they're gonna get the info that that's where all of Irvine Valley is in lobby. That's a great takeout around the corner.
But just fidgeting. Man, with that turret gives him up the other kill.
1 enemy remaining.
In a gun advantage like this, it's very nervous Nerve-wracking to see that it's this close. There's no time left.
Yeah, but Beach Combos going to play up anyways. I mean, why? Interesting that they're fighting on site. Either one of them could go down in Irvine Valley. He's going to take one down with them. Daimyo going away. Sky's left on the map and the spike off, bringing it up to a 10v11.
And now they've lost so many people. This credit advantage, Irvine Valley is now back up to full guns. I don't know. I'm extremely nervous for this next match. The one saving grace for the Broncos is that, well, two saving graces actually. Irvine Valley still isn't up to a full buy, and Boise State has a whole lot of ultimates to use.
We've seen how strong a big ultimate push can be in these situations.
I've got your trail.
Boise State with enough well-timed ultimates like this one could really take the stage. I'd love to get into that. Ooh.
In fact, he even managed to get out of that. I'm surprised. Trade 1-for-1. Boise State. Yeah, that initial engagement is not really feeling like pushing A anymore.
Which is unfortunate because the re-hit could be the move. Irvine Valley was anticipating a quick rotate, and now they're anticipating the re-hit. Looks like Boise State's pacing is good. As they start to move in to B long here.
Targets destroyed.
Each cobbler watching some of the world's thinnest angles. Doesn't catch Rariana running it through double doors. Who may have a good line on a Murky.
No.
Murky leaves the site. And this is so spread. I mean,
30
seeing
seconds
Rariana
left.
on the Sentinel on the Lurk is not something that we're unfamiliar with. And he would love to catch this one on his hand.
Oh, that was
Absolutely
great.
beautiful.
The
That's
blinding.
exactly what the Lurk's for, yep.
It immediately tipped him off to his position. Well, Boise State has a one-person advantage. They'll get the plant going.
They're going to try it again. Look at this. Dropping the spike in a place where they can shoot at the defuse. I mean, it's only something you can do when there's no sage wall, when there's not going to be any of the water business. These are gimmicks that only really work with old school rosters, which means, you know, dumping the spike and absolutely leaving the site. Irvine Valley has to check every corner, but once they've figured it out, they're just going to throw a whole bunch of utility down the lane.
Look at these two killjoys out, but Rariana has a triple. Oh, man, this
Last
Guardian
player
play.
standing.
Just one left from Irvine Valley. Oh, Boise State is able to win that.
And it's overtime time.
Oh, boy. Hey, Boise State should be able to full buy again for this round. Question I really have is, how's Irvine Valley's credit situation doing? I don't know if you could have any more of a fire under your shoes than two competing killjoys being thrown out.
The Venn diagram of death.
Now, the one thing I think Boise State that's going to allow them to full purchase here is that they do have those knives. So that takes a bit of pressure off of Skies, although he still has a Vandal. So what am I even saying?
Shadows traveling.
Okay, a lot of smoke's going on to B. Boise State is going to go for that B push. They weren't successful last time. Maybe this time is going to be a bit more fortuitous for them.
It looks like a very similar formation as last game. We're even seeing the B-box people putting on the double doors here. Diamond getting planted, moving. Looking for that, but no.
Spike down
As we
mid.
hear the calls behind, Chu and Barrage, Skies is going to find one and starts playing in for it with the knife out. Gets marked, decayed, and is vulnerable. Looks for a rotate on the C. People
Oh
are
my
already
goodness.
there. This bathroom is occupied. He's looking for something. It's not going to happen. Bola to find it.
Greg, it's great having you here.
That's what it feels like. It's an awkward encounter when you find yourself decayed and concussed and marked, and you're fleeing, and you run onto C-site, and oh, they're already here.
Oh my goodness, and the thing is also Boise State is very low on health themselves, so they have to call the right point.
30
And
seconds
Is
left.
this going to be a smart decision moving back over toward A?
Looks like there's nobody here, so he gets the plant out. Looks like they either weren't anticipating it or are okay making the journey through spawn. J-Bag has got to choose somewhere cheeky to stand. Cheeky indeed, as he first considers a real off angle. then staring right down the barrel. Now looking to walk down hell and just kind of making their game a little bit more difficult. If they check corners together, he's dead where he stands, but if they take the long way around, he could find one. Looks like they're going to be entering through the back.
Oh, he gets
Look
one.
at that. He finds one on the split. They know where he's at, though. His options are low. He thinks they're down long, and he keeps playing for it. But they rotated through spawn together and just split up the last second. So Danny gets an easy defuse. And this begins our overtime. Boise State has got to find one or it's game.
1 minute 1.61 seconds away from a win.
Match point.
Oh, that was down to the wire. Okay, now Boise State is going to have to drive this into true overtime.
And it really was down to a coin flip, because if he had been coming up long, that was the perfect play.
Looks like Boise State has just enough to get all rifles. Skies is going to be ecoing on the knives.
Volk has decided he has just enough money to get the judge.
Get out of my way.
Big time plays call for big judge plays. It's judge gaming time.
A lot on the line. Judge.
State is now moving up C-long. Are they going to be aware of this? They're going to be forcing him back. He moves back into the smoke. Stayed on the point, plants it down.
Skies keep the mouse pad warm. Checking out the whole area, and look at these shutdowns. Peach Cobbler doing excellently with the full
Yep.
Down there to find one in the distance. Danny to take him down. Skies replies with the knives. Ruriana
that's
to find
huge.
one close.
Oh, I don't think they know he's
I
sticking.
don't think they hear the deep fuse
One
noises he
enemy
should be
Oh.
playing, but at the last second, J-Bag finds it. Knives coming out. Danny is going to take the upper hand.
Placing swarm
It is
grenade.
so close. Danny kind of caught in the corner now. Can't quite get over to the spike, but he doesn't know whether it's safe to cross. There's simply no crossing guard for him, but the flash will do it. All Rariana has to do is waste time. Oh, don't show your face until you hear the buzzer. And the two-peak. Danny, this is the second time he's been caught in this awkward scenario. A little bit late to the party, finds a ticking
Switching
spike that's
sides.
already been half defused,
Overtime.
and everybody at the end of a bowling lane just waiting for him to sit on it. And he falls a second time, giving Boise State another chance at this overtime. Oh, this was so stressful.
I know. I thought for sure they didn't know. Oh, it was J-Bag.
It was J-Bag. I
on
don't
the
think
off
Skies
angle.
knew.
He was the only one who was on the point who could actually probably hear that cue.
That's so weird, though, because, like, they're on comms. They're on mic with each other. You would think that something that one knows all knows, but I'm sure amidst the intensity, maybe as soon as he learned, he just shot for it and found it. But this is the traditional single overtime, and Aldum looking to be shutting down a quick rush. Ooh, has to play back a little bit with J-Bag. It's a big push from Irvine Valley right down C, but C side finds two. Gotta watch
That's a
this.
lot of
J-Bag
blinds.
forward, finds
Oh,
two.
that's-
Looks for another, but can't quite find a bullet to be finding.
I mean, I wouldn't be too upset about that. You traded 2 for 1.
We are down to a 2-for-2 scenario, one with an op and the dash charged. Bola getting the plant. You know where he's at. There's
Spike
only one other
planted.
character that could have gun in hand. Now is the time to push, and look at that. Right through the belt loops, he finds one. Bola is going to take him down. Will he go for that op and meet Rariana in the cage here?
Oh,
Unbelievable.
That's filthy. Oh, no.
Absolutely nasty. Finds his 3K,
Switching sides.
knows he is a rat in a cage, and just throws the whole thing underwater. Look at this. It doesn't matter where he is. He just throws a grenade straight in.
Wow, and Skies just gets caught out by the long reload. That is tragic. It's actually not the grenade. It's the showstopper. He actually charged it up, which I gotta say that's probably a questionable play. If you hear the showstopper sound cue, do you really go into
Stand
as
in a box?
yeah as a closed space as garage?
Could be a pretty instant shot, though. I mean, what's the time between pressing X and pressing click? I guess there's projectile speed, but again, it's just such a small space. Rarion and Aldum to find their first one to kickstart things. Aldum turns tail and gets right out of there, but people are still lined up. It could be a scary one. He's going to take some shots. He's not going to find anything. They play back, still holding this two-man up position. Irvine Valley now spread thin as Boise State could, if they like, make the rotate anywhere else. Irvine Valley just can't justify a push from anyone. They've got to play back foot. They've got to play defensive. It's looking good for Boise State so far as bringing it back up to even. But even once they take this, they need to find another 2. We are in overtime territory, and if they slip here, let Irvine Valley take the point, they'll be taking map 1. A map that has been long toiled after.
Smoke off in heaven that might force this this breach down.
30 seconds left.
Volk is hanging out there in the corner, but luckily for Boise State, it's just a 1-for-1 trade. Those are just fine, considering they're up 2.
2 for 4
You
are
should
odds
run.
that we'll take. Danny on the outside with one last player going for the split up now. He's got to make a long rotate just to stay alive in this attacker killjoy. They're going to wait it out. That means they've got to have an explosive bringing back in. Here it is. Dumping some utility in. They're going to play together.
Oh,
but
the swarm
already,
grenade.
what an arrest. Deciding not to play through. They've got almost no time. It has to be a TK to find it. J-Bag standing strong in the corner. So much of this game has been down to patience.
And patience is what we're going to have here on Dusk, because we're into double overtime now.
It feels like triple overtime after that 11-11.
It does. But technically, it's double overtime. I really hope you didn't jinx us there. Is the one thing. You were the one who said it, not me. So my conscience is clear. Okay, as we head into defense, though, full rifles for everybody. Boise State seems to be, both these teams, a lot more comfortable on attack than defense. So any win here is kind of the major break point, I would think, if the Broncos pull this off.
That makes sense. They'd have the uphill portion of the battle taken care of. So Boise State would love to find this point, save some energy. Nice and spread on the defense, playing the clock pretty well so far. The spike in the twofold. Positioned a little bit towards A. Rariana, feeling that lurk, call his name, starts to venture out into the grass, maybe even the window. Successfully rotating a ways through, ready to cut off.
He's rotated all the way up to the window. That could be huge.
Could be huge if they decide that C has been well flushed out and the people need to rotate from A. He could definitely track them down.
The spike holder is actually an A, though. So, I mean, Rariana has kind of the more prime target, if you will.
Blinding.
Oh, that bait out towards C looks to
30
be
seconds
diverting
left.
Rariana's attention.
Cover going out.
Rariana might find some in the middle anyways.
Oh,
he finds
he
one
finds
and
one.
gets right out of there. Good discipline to find one. Murky now pushing his way up. Ooh, looking to drop the spike onto A short. It's not
Spike
enough time
planted.
for him though. We already have people in heaven. But Skies from above is going to play patient as well, waiting for J-Bag to corral everybody in before he shows his face. J-Bag and the code now making their way downtown. Peach Cobbler throwing the util out. All them low on health. Shane, he's the only one who can help anybody up. And Murky to find the
Last
two.
player
Cobbler another, and Murky
Wow.
shuts it down. Looks like Skies shown a little bit earlier in the round to maybe caught them off guard.
Switching sides.
The split push
Match
proving
point.
good potential. But like we said, both teams have been more comfortable on the attack. Hopefully Boise State can find this point on the attack and bring it into triple overtime. Maybe it was my fault.
I mean, that was a very spectacular bait on C, especially when they got Rariana trained. You know, I think that might have been the one saving grace for Boise State, is that Rariana was in window and had a chance to maybe flank him on A, but they put so much util out onto C that Boise State just had a lot of trouble on that free pick.
What?
All right, Boise State now back up to attack.
Worried that Boise State is getting a little bit impatient. They push this one really quick and have to teleport out of there. J-Bag finds one though, looking good so far in the numbers, but position-wise, it feels uncomfortable on the map. Look at Bola just absolutely scanning the area with his bullets. to get anybody out of B. They're all standing right outside the doors, and Skies takes another one. So sneaky. It feels like they're just picking them out of a basket one at a time. Volk fights back. Aldum to find another, and Danny to reply. It's down to a 2v2 as the spike is right on top of by both teams. Danny gets almost no defuse out. J-Bag, some vision, but not enough. They're going to play forward, try to catch him off guard. It's not enough. He finds it. Down to 25 health. J-Bag doesn't hear. He's got to peek. He's not going to do it. And Irvine Valley takes it at 15-13.
Oh, man, that's a heartbreaker.
Wow. For the third time in the game.
I mean,
The defuse is happening, and all we can do is watch.
Yeah, that is the third time. Boise State just hasn't been really aware of that defuse, and they managed to get away with it for the first 2 times, but third time was the charm for Irvine Valley. So overall, that's going to mean Boise State has a very long road ahead of them. They're going to be going to Ascent next. We'll see if they can pull together the pieces there. We'll be back after this break, though.
Home is where you hang your hat, snuggle up, hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it. Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Home is where you hang your hat, snuggle up, hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it. Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. You are joining us for NACE of Valorant. Boise State is going up against Irvine Valley, and we just had quite the intense matchup on Haven with Irvine Valley winning it in double overtime 15-13. I'm host Jacob Palmer, joined by Greg Smith, calling all the action for you today. And you were talking to the Broncos during the break, and surprisingly, they say they're feeling pretty good.
They are feeling really good, which is a good place for them to be at. I mean, if we consider 1 or 2 rounds making the difference in that double overtime situation, we had 1 or 2 rounds kind of go to waste in the middle of the first half, right, where we had a great momentum, and then it was kind of lost for a few rounds, and we were playing catch-up for a little while. If it had been more even for more of the game, it would have been a totally different outcome. So now moving on to Ascent and hopefully Icebox after, we get to see if they're right about how strong they're feeling against Irvine.
Well, overall, the Broncos still looking to get a win. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was 6-1 both these teams are at?
Both the teams are 5-1.
5-1. So they're looking to go 6-1.
Yes.
All right, so both these teams pretty high up in the roster, but one of these teams is going to face the bitter pill of defeat very soon. Of course, before we get to round 2, we want to talk about just kind of the general strategy of Ascent, because I think you said something very interesting. Haven is like, you know, it's been around for so long, everything's so set in stone, and I feel the same, even more so for Haven. For Ascent.
That's very fair. I mean, it's basically the tutorial range, right?
Mm-hmm.
But taken out to be an actual map. And sometimes it feels like the skeleton of what a map should be. And if I was just handed the first 4 maps, I would guess it would be the first one ever created. I mean, it's very just fundamental. You have a little bit of everything. And I like to say it has a heaven on one side, and then it still has a little bit of ground difference on the other. You have these doors. There's nothing super gimmicky about it, like any ropes, whether that's vertical, horizontal, or across the entire stage. There's no third sight. You have a very set up mid, and you can take it if you'd like to. And there was a whole mid meta that Valorant went through where no one would play Ascent unless they were barreling down mid, but you don't actually have to take it. It's got these nice thin walls on B if you, I don't know, if you want to play Sova with an LMG. You know, if you want to. It brings in to custom some great characters that we don't see played often enough anywhere else, like KO, like Sova, like Raze sometimes, and Killjoy is also a very typical pick on this map. Though Irvine's typical picks may differ from Boise State, so I'd love to see if the matchup is as mirror as it was last week when we played on Ascent.
Well, we're going to get into the picks pretty soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a complete mirror matchup, to be honest. Since, you know, some of the stuff is a given. You're going to do the KJ, of course. Boise State actually going for the Sova, whereas Irvine Valley is going for the Fade in terms of the initiator.
And we've seen the Irvine Valley Fade be a formidable foe for sure, if I were allowed to alliterate that much. The Jet Knive's going to be a good thing to have on this oftentimes high-paced map. An interesting split coming from Irvine Valley as we really start to feel that lurker position come out here. J-Bag with the early round knife, a typical hold for him. He's going to get knifed back. The suppress and presence detect, the catalyst for a little bit of rotation action here as people look to overwhelm Bola, and it's a quick shutdown for the top fragger of Irvine Valley. Boise State playing back hard and fast, and look at this trap. They've got them caged in to the A choke point. Danny looking to make his way onto site, finds 2 well, but it's going to be under reply by J-Bag. So it's a 3v3 with a serious health difference. The plant is
planted.
out, yes, but Danny is still off the site and playing his
One
own
enemy
battle,
remaining.
trying to guide Murky, but it can't happen. And they take both of them out. Boise State cheering on the stage, feeling fantastic. Getting a quick defuse for round 1.
By a pretty good margin as well. For the second round picks, what Boise State is going to hope to bonus with, this is actually pretty conservative to be honest. It's Irvine Valley who's actually which sometimes we see the strategy be brought out. And I do like the strategy. It kind of changes up everything.
Yeah, sticking to the rules too much and playing by, I have the air quotes out whether you can see them or not, the rules can let your opponent kind of do some tricky things and get ahead of the game. So it's Irvine Valley looking to keep Boise State honest here as they really push hard the eco up. J-Bag okay to stand in the middle and get his presence detected. He's not afraid and stomachs another util to the face as he stands his ground. And it's going to be an A push. Rariana's able to find one in the middle game, winning again the fight of the lurkers and proving himself the superior
Damio
KO.
is on the Ares, holding down A. Talk about unorthodox. Oh, I wanted it to work so well.
Yep, especially considering that he took like 3 util to the neck and just stayed strong and kept pushing in.
I salute Oldham. He's picking up the Ares and keeping the legend moving on.
Next successor. Gonna drop this one out just to let him onto the stage and play after a little bit of that white bun is seen, but Volk is going to be the one to capitalize on it. Alden playing now against 2 with a ghost in hand instead of the Ares.
See, that's where his problem was.
Yep,
he didn't
had the
stick
Ares.
with the Ares.
It's a tough one. Volk with the 4K, bringing it to 1v1, and it looks like that very fast buy up in round 1 to catch things off guard worked. Boise State now having to fight a little bit uphill.
That was very well played, and we've seen kind of the more formidable teams be willing to take a risky buy on round 2, kind of throw out the general rules of bonusing altogether. Now, even though it's not going to be a full purchase for them, it's still going to be they're vastly going to outgun what Boise has.
J-Back comfortable playing the same route over and over again, this time with no pushback. Gets a little bit more ground, but Murky to shut him down once he arrives. Skies smoked off, throws a few to the wind, hoping to find someone mid-flash, but it's not going to be there. A little bit more utility, just looking to secure the area while Volk gets the plant out. Still in a 1v1 scenario, it doesn't feel great for Boise State to be down 2 like this, missing their long-range shot. Already doored off, they break the glass. Irvine Valley staring down. Skies making his way across.
All things considered, they've got 2 marshals, which is a bit awkward on a retake, so even just one frag here I would probably count as a victory, but it does look like that the gun advantage is going to lead to a flawless for Irvine Valley. So I guess in a crazy roundabout way, we do get our standard 2-1 opening just with extra steps.
It's true, we did. There was a little bit of a shuffle there in the middle, but it did happen. And look at this, and you're so right. It just feels awkward trying to take these. And it's like trying to use butter knives for chopsticks. Like, it's almost there, but trying to use these marshals to get the post plant, it's just uncomfortable. Alden doing his typical Sova business. He's going to get a little bit of information about the situation. Meanwhile, Smoke's coming out to slow things down. Peach Cobbler dashes straight into the wall.
Peach Cobbler repositioning as Irvine Valley. Trying to decide whether they want to rotate through mid or go back through their own spawn to A. It looks like the course of action is to go to A, and Rariana could actually have a pretty good flank. He's moving up through A short. He's going to possibly have a 2-on-1 if he's not checking the right angle.
Oh, nice and thin. He must have heard them. Hopefully they didn't hear him. They're checking correctly. Look at that. Crosshair line up right. He's able to take things down quick to the ears. Finds one. Finds the second with a pop fly bullet. 21 health left on the line. Throws down the turret to defend him. And look at that, runs away with 2 kills for it. So Boise State looking a 5v3 so far. Already Aldham hiding out in the mud, ready to accept this big push coming on strong from Irvine Valley after the rotate. Spike gonna run down the sidelines. He should be ready for it. More utility coming out to try to clear the area, but it's not enough for him. Aldham finds one, looking for a second one. It's not gonna be there. Murky looking to get that plant down while J-Bag on his tail finds him, brings it to a 2v2. And only lost 1 player there, so good creds, good bonus. Looking to buy up to some big ARs. But Danny, Volk, Peach Cobbler, Bola, and Murky all doing the same. This
Boise
one.
State, oh, here we go, it's op time. I mean, the op on Ascent is just a legendary classic combo. You got such a great mid-location to use it,
And you
people,
have all of A Heaven as well.
people who don't respect it dearly pay.
And it could be here.
Oh, that's a nice bait.
It's a good bait. They have been counting creds over there. Calculator out, the Desmos up. They're able to avoid the bullet. And now they know. This guy's looking to get a good reposition to hopefully surprise him with another op shot somewhere else. He's going to have to shuffle this situation as far as what defense means. But now, watching through tree, it's a little closer than we usually expect. Again, though, Peach Cobbler, the one to bait the bullet one more time. Now Sky's decayed and Marked has to leave the scene, giving Rariana a chance to shine, or at least prevent a push to the glass. While Irvine Valley owns A site now, and Boise State trying to get through the post plant. Well, we've seen it just times. It's not a comfortable position.
Powerless.
Oh,
Oh, he sees the muzzle. He knows it's there, plays through the box,
Oh,
doesn't find it, looks for another.
Oh, he did.
Unbelievable.
Oh.
And I've seen him make shots like that before. He had plenty of time. Aldham
One enemy
take
remaining.
one down, looking to make the rotate. Irvine Valley, 1 player left alive. J-Bag on site. He's going to check this corridor, but they're not there. After ruling that one out.
One enemy
Oh, Bola gets a 2 kill. No, only 1. J-Bag finds him and goes in for the defuse.
I think he has enough time.
Yeah, he hasn't done the double beat yet. He's got this one in his bag. No problem. Bringing it up to a 3v2. Boise State looking to take this map and make it
And
an
most
exhausted
importantly,
best
the
of
one
1.
he picked up was the op. So the biggest credit bomb does not go over to Irvine Valley. Boise State is able to retain it. And because of that, get another full buy. Irvine Valley, one of them is going to have at least half shields. And what really hurts for them is they don't have the knives up. They're 1 away from the knives. So
And
the
Peach-
one thing that could have probably saved them the credits.
Yep. Yeah, very close. And Peach Cobbler 1 credit away from having to get the half shields themselves. Irvine Valley's really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. If Boise State can catch them on this one, it's going to be an easy cred situation next round. So they could bring it up to a 5v2. Staring down. Ooh. Oh, Rariana! Right after Skies! Dastardly. I think he was trying to defeat the one-way smoke by squatting down and, getting his head underneath it faster, but it made him a lot slower, and I don't think he thought he was staring right out of Skies, trying to stave off these fights. They're hungry for his op, and he might just feed it to him. Attacker Killjoy to flow out and grab nobody. Danny a little bit slow on the plant now as they
Spike
can rush
planted.
in. Gets it down. Boise State, all 3 together, looking to make their way onto site. Only 1 person watching it.
player standing.
Skies just can't hold off against the other 2 and gets no res. And Irvine Valley took a big risk with their credits, but they found it.
Doesn't look like they're going to be interested in picking up the op. I have to wonder if the course of action there wouldn't have been just to, oh man, put the op in a safe place for safekeeping and pick up a Vandal, because I just, retaking B with as long range a weapon as that, I just don't think that that was advantageous at all.
Yeah, B is built like a square. 1. Also, all of its walls can be shot through. That's garage, this little paper basket in the middle. So you kind of lose all the pros and start accumulating cons for having the opposite side. It's so good on A and short, and wow, Danny for shutting down this big push. These guys can stay back there being punished for playing forward, and Daimyo wants to do it anyways.
Well, Boise State is on a save round, so we usually see these more unorthodox push strategies. throughout
That's a
this
blatant-
smoke. Sees Peach Cobbler is going to be able to take him out. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Not bad for the Broncos. Rariana is desperate on health right now, though.
Yeah, we could even consider it a 2-for-3 trade.
Last
considering
player
the two
standing.
people already went down,
Wow.
running into the fray. Rariana, ooh, if he can find a good gun here. Maybe, oh, yeah, he's already holding a Vandal. Never mind. Looking to run right into sight and catch him off guard. They are both
Spike
looking the
planted.
wrong way. Hopefully he can find something here. Oh, no, he was so close to Danny. Finds him on the distance, and now it's 3v4 in Irvine Valley. It's going to bonus up lots of guns here. Boise State high on the ults. If they can play it out right, could definitely find something here, as they've got just enough to make it a full gun round. That is going to be they're ahead. Gosh, Irvine Valley has so many creds. Even if Boise State took this next one on ult alone flawlessly, Irvine Valley could make it another full gun round, and then they'd have the ult advantage. It's so hard to see any further than a couple of seconds into the game.
I was surprised that with a big a swing as that, as Damio had to take to get Peach Cobbler, he was able to spray back into the smoke and actually pick one up. I thought at best that was a 1-for-1 trade.
Yep. And it was a dink onto low health through the smoke. I mean, all the dice he rolled turned up right.
Meanwhile, this is the first major push we've actually seen this game through Garden. But Boise State seems to have a few views on that lockdown. J-Bag shooting the Molly. He's going to get smoked out. Throws out the Molly in response. That forced out a tail run right into big Damio's hands.
Oh! This guy's out of that corner. They're just waiting for him. Daimyo to take his place. Tries to be a little bit tricky, and it's not there. J-Bag's turn. He's going to just check his corner, deliver it. Responds well to the shots over shoulder. Going to take down both with no problem. Now looking to really secure the area. Got to be very deliberate here. A 3v3 is not where you want to trip. Scales could tip either way. And with Boise State playing on the defense, they're spread a little bit thin, just natural to the situation. So 3 people looking on A. 1 to watch the flank, 1 with the spike, and Omen starts smoking things up while they start moving into the site.
30 seconds left.
They've made their entry. For Boise State, they've got to shut this one down fast. And look at that.
Wow.
Sure enough, wow, they hunted him down. And Alden with the ult is going to take down the spike carrier.
Gonna go for, oh, that was such a great cover by Bola. They get the res out.
One enemy remaining.
J-Vegas and Eldom are still there, though.
Last player
And just on
standing.
time, they're going to be...
Clutch.
Oh, no! Oh, if he had held back, he would have been able to win that just on
What
time.
an unreal
No.
clutch. What a change. That was absolutely ridiculous. They pulled out the ult, which was the only thing they had going for them this round. Found the knock. It was a down, but it wasn't a kill. And with just enough time in their favor, Irvine Valley were able to take it. Then, time in Boise State's favor, just couldn't hold out all enough. And Murky, with a 2K in the very end, was able to stave off the defense against Plant. And it goes down to a 3-5 knot, which is fantastic. This guy's looking to get a little tricky one right at the start of the round, and that is so expensive to run that updraft. He's loud too, they're not going to want to keep that. He decides to play forward, take the space for himself.
Meanwhile, all of Irvine Valley seems to be pretty much bunched up with Boise State ecoing. You know, they don't really have the typical weapons like the Phantom to be able to spray into a large group of people.
No, I mean, talk about a typical eco weapon. Boise State Skies, still feeling hungry, is just hunting things down with those knives.
It's going to be used. Rariana takes that out pretty quick with the knife. And it might have just been a bait. Skies is going to be waiting in mid. Can he find one? There's a lot of sidelines that are just out of his range. Now, but he might catch him unawares. He gets
no
one.
charges left. 30
They
seconds
are
left.
up 5-3. Mariana picks
One
up
enemy
another one
remaining.
onto Danny. That's his third. And a flawless Thrifty. Changing things all the way back to Boise State.
Our favorite flavor of flawless, the Thrifty. Now look at that 2-time as Rariana just grabbed everyone that Skies swept up into the corner. J-Bag proving himself again an excellent anchor, alone on a site. Roriana finds another 3. Well, another 2.
3 ARs for Boise State.
Get out of
Irvine
my
Valley
way.
looks like they could be taking a rather fast tempo. They immediately take out Rariana with those knives. Now they're moving up into the mid-market. All getting slowed down at all. But it's quickly shut down by Damio and Alden.
Danny and Murphy to find one before Alden finally replies. It's 2v2 and they're already backside. Bolo looking for the plant, trying to bait some kind of
One
shot.
enemy remaining.
We oftentimes see a tap for the defuse, but Bola baiting on the plant. Interesting scenario. Alden now with a good pacing, good timing is going to get an easy
Spike
owl dart
planted.
onto him. And look at this. It may have missed. I think it hit Shiny, but the spike's out. That's 300 credits in the pocket.
Last player
Right down now.
standing.
And on the peak, a 1-for-1 is all he needs. And Boise State J-Bag to clean up the site, bring it to a 5v5, and even half, even if there's 6 eyes. He's going to drop the knife for intimidation factor.
Just casually walk away very slowly. Wasn't me, I didn't do it.
Yeah, who knows what that keyboard be doing. It looks like that knife may have been a little accidental. And yeah, sure enough, that hitting Shiny is unfortunate, but he does play up well with just holding this area. Beautiful 2v1.
All right, Boise State has a slight advantage too. Bola is going to be on half shields. Autumn has a lineup ready for his recon dart. Heads up. It's going to get down pretty fast. Oh, it gives away the. Oh!
Wow, Skies was so close to playing that double and excellently, but it's not quite there. And that recon dart did not go where I thought it was. What a lineup. I mean, that little electric box, that was a reflect point, and it went onto main. I've never seen that one. Bola to take Skies in the center.
You should
Unfortunate because Skies was the one playing up earlier, trying to get the front foot on the situation. Now has to sit out the rest of the round. Boise State looking at a 4v5. A little bit of health down onto their Sentinel, and all to take one, but he just can't secure it. And Volk finds another one. The attacker goes away to grab nobody, but it has scared them off the site. Boise State 3 now from the long. Gotta wait until it goes down before they can get in there. Volk with a quick plan.
Spike planted.
Irvine Valley holding down the mud well. Boise State's got a lot to do here. They can't even find the trade. Daimyo is able to finish it.
Last player
Having
standing.
to go on the retake, 4-on-1. On a great position for Rariana. Get what? No chance there. That was triple
You can
me.
see the entire squad. A scary sight. No chance
Last
that Irvine
round
Valley
before
has
the
secured
switch.
their half. If Boise State can find another point, it will be down to them just playing a good old attacking round to see whether or not they get to go to Icebox.
Placing sentry.
And I think for this last
Alarm bot out.
round, Boise State is just barely able to afford rifles as it was. Yeah, you see Skies being brought onto a judge. Oldham has the Odin, funnily enough.
We're going to try it again this time. This guy's now playing a little bit slower. Ooh. Now waiting for the judge. Going to bait some serious walkthrough here. It might not happen, and even if it does, it's only going to be one player. Meanwhile, in another neck of the woods, J-Bag really straddling the choke points here, looking onto tree and hoping that Omen will be able to see any funny business walking across grapes. Skies looks like he's winning the war against Bola, as Bola's getting a little bit anxious to walk here.
Well, no. We move back. Meanwhile, on A, it was really the story that we were missing. Damio gets the pick. Here it is.
Corners goes
There it
down
is.
to one shot. What a beautiful bonus up. Skies only needed one shot, and it's back to Phantom game. And Eco engages Rariana to set down the KJ exactly where you want to be setting the spike. It's going to flush
One
Icon
enemy
straight
remaining.
out of there, and Sky's wrecking havoc in
30
mid. It
seconds
looks
left.
great. This could be a flawless and not even down to a point until both last
Spike
one alive.
planted.
They're knocking on his door. The biggest gun they can do so. He's trying to throw out the utility, but what a lawnmower comes around the corner, and a 2-for-1. Sorry, a 1v1. It gives Skies 3 kills to clean up the round, and it's an easy defuse for round 6 for a nice, clean, even fair handshakes all around.
But it isn't quite like Haven,
Switching
where
sides.
you have 3 points to defend, and Boise State can maybe think that they're going to be a little bit more comfortable on attack. I can't really say the same for Ascent. Maybe?
You can say that point for point, they're looking better now than they did in the first round. If they can play round 2 as well as they played last time,
I'm sorry, I'm just getting hypnotized by
Yeah.
this guy's acrobatics. That was a real trip there.
incredible. I thought he threw a blast back in there.
He's not even playing Raze.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, it's the secret blast pack that only pro players are given.
Ooh, look at that side
my
IP. Top standing. Synchronize our clock and find one for 3. Boise State down several players. Is not looking good on the pistol round.
Maybe we can just go back to hopping on the on that
the
crate.
boxes.
That was more fun
That
to
was a lot
watch.
more fun. Danny's legs are showing. Rariana looking to capitalize on that. Not quite going to be there. A little bit of damage down, but look at this doubling down on the site. Absolutely unbelievable. They've already made eye contact with all the players. They keep playing into it. A whole minute to rotate, and they won't take it. Daniel considering going somewhere else to play. And sure enough, after the press, they decide to split up.
Well, it seems like he's actually kind of
Last
waiting
player
for
standing.
Rariana.
Walking back
Okay,
to the
well,
retake?
yeah, no. This is so weird. I guess go out with glory, but not much glory to be had as a flawless. He's going to put Irvine Valley into the early lead for this half. Now, does Boise State do the same thing that Irvine Valley did last half?
Ooh. Yeah.
They do.
The strange 2-1.
Oh, no, they don't. Oh, I really wanted that to happen. Boise State has been a bit too,
Dependable.
yes. And I'm very disappointed in them. It's so dependable.
That's fair. Boise State a little bit more of a split play here. Trying to play something funky for us.
Rariana slowly making their way up through A main is going to peek around the corner. See Peach Cobbler with one shot from the Bulldog. That's the end of Rariana's push. You know, Bucky also holding down Garage. He's going to get smoked out. Skies moves forward to get toward A. An evening up shot by J-Bag. Now it's 4 Ps. Danny with that Vandal. Hard thing to answer when you have a Sheriff, but Skies finds a way to do it. He's going to be able to get the plant. He's going to try to check his angles first. Now he goes for it.
J-Back, the one protecting him. Much better to wait for J-Back than to just go for it behind Jenny and be caught when someone comes out from Hell. Now Sky is occupying Hell. A good crossfire of sorts held up with J-Back, and they're looking just to play for time. Look at this.
Last
Not
Yeah,
like
not even looking back for 1 second.
absolutely off guard. Skies now down to a decay of 1 tilt point. They just make eye contact, and it's enough to scare Skies into death. With an easy defuse, bringing Irvine Valley up to 8v6. Boise State now, though,
Team Ace.
playing by the rules. Teammates, we don't see that very often. Everyone did their part and got their one. Good gameplay by Irvine Valley. Boise State did play by the rules a little bit here and decided to save after the first loss, meaning that they could really buy up, and Irvine Valley is going to be stuck playing with whatever they can bonus in from the last round. It was a flawless, so they're going to have a lot to bonus, but Boise State, with better guns, should be able to take this round, bringing it up to a 7-8. And by how much space they can take it,
Placing swarm grenade.
determines their starting foot in the next round. So Let's just say.
Aren't going to be stopped by Boise State. Sky's going to go for a push up on the catwalk. Texas angle, but Murky is waiting right there with a judge. Stop that push. Oldham's going to try get him out of that corner with the shock dart. Molly doesn't hit heaven at all. Ariana gets blinded. That's going to force him back. J-Bag gets a pick onto Danny. Still within reason. Boise State 4-4. Oldham is Damio has also gained a lot of ground up here through mid-market. Has a chance to dislodge Bola, but no, Bola's behind the wall. But maybe Peach Cobbler. That is indeed the case.
A beautiful trace and take by Daimyo. Boise State now 3v1. Bola looking to find something, but it's going to be difficult despite how beautiful that Spectre is. Going to a free ult point and rotating somewhere else.
Right goes down for Boise State. They're going to have about 5-10 seconds. And they've traded in their pretty Phantom, a pretty Spectre for a Phantom, something a bit more dependable.
That's fair.
Still a 1-on-3, but Boise State is positioning themselves at least where Rihanna did, where it was a 1-on-1.
Yeah, they were definitely spread thin. Hopefully they've come to their senses now and are playing 2-for-1, and it'll be difficult for them to look all the way around, setting up a good crossfire in case they decide to peek, using up that shadow step for it. Bola checking all the angles, coming down to the wire, setting up a turret, so it's kind of a 2-on-2, but J-Back doesn't even peek the turret. Good angle control as he gets one quick tap to Irvine Valley's final player and brings it up to the 7-8 we had all hoped and dreamed for. Only 2 players left because of the unfortunate demise of Rariana off in another neck of the woods. 2 players left to bonus up their big buy from this round.
That even wasn't a bait on that one. I would have thought with 2 players left, maybe you go for a bait, but time was ticking down.
Yeah, I just had to hope that they thought it was a bait. So much reverse psychology. Now, State going to come straight onto B with full force and find something. Oh, Skies put out short angle. Wolf is going to take it now. They reply and guarding their ground. They do okay, but it's a 1v2 Rariana. Spike somewhere else. They're closing in on him. He has to play up, and it's so uncomfortable. Caught in an ugly crossfire. Doesn't fire off a single click before Bola takes him down, and now a 9-7. Ooh.
And this is what's concerning, is that the main kind of breakaway rounds that you've had, Boise State has not had a good record on them at all. The only round that they really won in the second half so far is the ones you'd expect them to win, that typical 3rd round. You beat them on the bonus because they don't have the gun advantage. But even then, that was a very close victory for them. So seems like the rounds Boise State should be winning by wide margins. Only barely get by on. Oh.
Seeing each other a little bit on the jiggle peak. Rariana is going to make the right call and finds one. Looking to keep it, throws that turret out just to kind of feel things, to use it, to get another 2 players on the J-Back under so much fire to find one.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, what a down. Oldham takes one to the grave with him, but
I need to see that again. A double swarm grenade. Boise State just walks right into it.
Yeah, that whole round could fit on a replay.
It could. I would hope production takes notes, but, you know, sometimes when we specifically called for a replay, we don't get it, so. Even then, that was really good play by Bola. It's been, the Killjoys have been doing pretty well. Rariana is the top fragger for Boise State, whereas Bola is 2nd top fragger. Boise State gonna force out onto an eco. Sky brings out the knives.
It's tough because those are the strange offhand rounds that you're talking about. Like expected wins, but they're just by the book in a fight against Irvine Valley. This guy's now trying to ignore that there, and look at this. It's the same util that has caught Boise State off guard several times in a row. Now that door being open is a scary thing for them. Boise State is wrapping around B, kind of cutting off Irvine Valley from the rest of itself, and might be able to play through some utility here. This guy's looking to take out some the rotatable defense. Decides not. Drop the smoke and rotates back out.
Email has nice crosshair placement, but he's smoked out. Irvine Valley is going to preemptively use their lockdown. Hunter's in response. Skies with a nice knife shot. Going to clear out B for Boise State's plan.
30 seconds left.
Well, I'm not really sure what Danny was really going for there.
Unfortunately, down that's his bait for another Irvine Valley player. Res him and it totally works. Big Daimyo to capitalize on the fact that
One enemy remaining.
he was just left down and not killed. Tricky play by Boise State, making up 8-10. It feels like this game has been so much quicker. There's so much less. I mean, that's kind of the connectedness that we talk about. It's interesting that even though it's 3 sites on the map, there's a way to play Haven slowly.
I don't know. To me, it still seems like a pretty darn long match. I mean, we've gone into double overtime for the first one, 8-10 for the second one. And you know, we always talk about margins, how well Boise State wins. You know, this was a round that they were feeling pretty confident going into. They thought, you know, oh, we greatly improved since the last time we've seen Irvine Valley. But it seems like Irvine Valley hasn't been any slouches themselves.
Yeah, which is something to consider. They're going to be going against each other regardless of who wins this map in the next stage. Remember, they're both set to either take second or third place and are fighting now for those seats. But they have got to keep in mind and remember everything they see tonight as improvements from their last little meetup a semester ago, because soon enough they'll be fighting again.
It's nice to know that both these teams are kind of guaranteed for the playoffs. You know, it's just seeding at this point, but on the other hand, you know, you don't want to go too low in the seeding and get that, you know, matchup no one wants to get at the start with the #1 seed.
Yeah, be fighting uphill for sure. Additionally, you just kind of want that ego boost of thinking, oh, we beat you twice before, we'll do it again. You know, we know you, and you had to study for this match. Boise State would love to come into the next stage with as many foes under their belt as they can.
Round's going to open with Boise State pretty split up. Haven't even picked up the spike, so as keep their options open. These guys might get the earliest pick through mid. So we do see their Omen is hanging out up on catwalk.
Yeah, he's just waiting for Murky, and Murky getting up the confidence to jiggle peek here, just keeping the keyboard hot. He's going to send out a smoke. Ooh! But peeking mid with the judge is a scary thing, so we can see why he might not want to be doing it. Instead of getting him so caught behind Shiny, he's got to rotate out, and he's kind of separated from the rest of the pack here. He'll have to walk across to get anywhere, which means the 3 players on A are going to have to go without him. 1 player left on B, where our Killjoy has set. Running out for the lineups. Slow for the lineup. State to take and one here. Skies. A couple of intimidation shots towards
30 seconds left.
flank. Spike already down and no eye contact has been made, aside from a little bit of damage on the KO. Goes down all the same. Doriana to take Murky. Peach Cobbler a second with the knives. Alden is going to shut down the knife play, but what damage. Irvine Valley only 2 left alive, and the Spike's been out
Bring them down.
quite a bit of time now. State just comfortable to play slow, play for time. He's going to keep throwing some darts here.
Bam.
J-Bag goes in for the peak and is
One enemy
down
remaining.
to
the
now
body
Skies will
block.
find another one. Oh, and after a second hit, finds him. He's going to go down to the Spike.
Last player standing.
Oh! Gets bitten by it, however.
Boise State looking at 9-10 though. I'm not going to say the O word.
Thank you.
That's the end of the sentence.
Thank you. I'm trying to keep a little bit. I'm trying to get a little bit and keep a little bit of hope in my soul right
We're
now.
looking good so far. Boise State would love to take the second
Oh,
map.
he almost got away from the spike too.
He was close. I think be a knife out immediately after. He could.
Could have an early peek here between both of the KJs. See Rariana hanging out in lobby. I do hear a Marshall be brought out by Peach Cobbler.
Ooh, this guy's narrowly avoiding this Peach Cobbler. He's going to fight it back. Murky might have the confidence now to peek onto him. Oh no, Rariana the one to push forward. The other one's territory. It's so scary because if either of the, if the KJs peek onto the other one, they're peeking onto them and the turret. So it's an interesting impasse where neither are supposed to peek. Rariana decides he would just take out the turret, hoping that the other one would be all the way around the corner in the typical judging spot, but not was the case. Irvine Valley takes their first soul. And
Skies answers it back, ties it up for a piece. That Outrun's going to try to get even more information from Boise State as they move on toward A. Going to plant around Generator, a whole bunch of Irvine Valley caught up in heaven. Smoke. They're going to be using the Nightfall that is going to hit one of the Broncos, so it's going to help them trade 1-for-1, especially since they're down in guns. This is a pretty good showing for Irvine Valley. A possible flank here. Boise State has been flanked on this route multiple times before.
Last player
No,
standing.
he is still taken out.
ooh. Ebola just can't keep in that shot there. Alden scanning for any survivors. 10-10 now. Into the double digits. A close game. Not as close as the last one of Boise State. Just needs another 3 points before Irvine Valley can find 2. 3-2. We can take that.
I think Bola just getting a little bit, facing a little bit of a. Oh, I mean, he was under the microscope and just kind of faltered a little bit because he had the Guardian, and if he could have just clicked heads there, then that it's not out of the question they could have taken that 2-on-1, but still very difficult. Now Boise State is going to be moving back toward A. It worked out well for them last time, but they're going to get smoked out before they can even get to guard. J-Bay, flash, going to toss it over the wall. Trying to dislodge that Joker on the other side. Bola is not going to falter at all, gets a double, which is Irvine Valley up to an advantage. 4-3. Through mid, Damio gets a huge pick onto Volt. That even things up. J-Bag now goes to the front end of Generator. One grenade tossed out on Evan, which is immediately found out by Irvine Valley. Mariana going down toward Hell. Try to hold things down under there. Door is going to head down. Rariana takes out Danny from Heaven. Oh, but Murky is now pushing through Garden. And Rariana doesn't see him, but the flick is going to bail him out. It's a one-on-one, but Rariana does not have the health advantage, but still gets it with the headshot!
Back-to-back flicks, unbelievable. And Irvine Valley just can't hold a microscope close enough to fry him. Oh, Rariana, the Kovacs is paying off. Look at that from a distance. Then teammate goes down, the pressure's on. Unreal.
That's an insane flick. I also have to wonder if you don't want to maybe take that angle just a little bit farther back, because I mean, hindsight is 20/20. Maybe he didn't know the health that Rariana was at, but Rariana, I would have, if I had known he had low health, probably would have moved back and maybe just tried to get it on the spray.
What's crazy to me is, he knows exactly how many shots it's gonna take, because all in one motion he flicks over, finds the 3 to the head, and then goes down for the GG spray. He's done it so many times.
He got an ace earlier with some insane sheriff play, so he has big predictive abilities. Skies takes out Bola. Broncos have a lot of momentum, going to try to push themselves match point, but Danny with a classic shot to take out Skies. One of them takes him out. Each Cobbler now trying to retake this from Heaven.
Alden gave him a free now. Guardian though. Alden looking to take him from below. low. It's a good crossfire. Watching Gabe. Tree. Oh, they catch him in the corner. Look at that from above. Rariana
I have more tests to
able to
run.
find one, bringing it to 12 to 10. Boise State just needs to find this
Match
next
point.
point, and if they don't, they can take the one after, and they'll still be okay. Boise State on the edge of taking a wonderful vacation up north to Icebox.
Just where I want to go for my vacation. Pack the parka, and I'm in on it. But wow, Boise State now has 3 chances and 3 ultimates, coincidentally enough. But Irvine Valley has planned for this.
And look at this. If well, I mean, we can't talk too much about the future creds of Irvine Valley because it's really down to only a few more. But they want this to be their last big push. They're kind of scraping the barrel here with the creds.
This guy's taking a peek through mid. So Irvine Valley is positioned a little bit farther back on A. Normally we saw their Omen kind of hanging out on a catwalk, but they're being a bit more cautious now, hanging out on the point itself. Rariana throwing out a bit of util into the smoke, but I think things are going to be held at bay for right now. You have 2 Killjoys right on each side of the wall here too. That's quite hilarious. I bet he's not going to be hanging out there any longer as that lockdown is the 2 lockdowns.
Yep.
These Killjoys are mirror images of each other.
Another Venn diagram of death, and neither team wants to stand in it.
I love a good Venn
Cost one.
diagram. Well,
Now-
Boise State locks down one, actually. It's the Killjoy on the point.
Yeah, interesting that they decided to wait it out, and there's not a vacuum for B site like I would expect. Actually, Boise State has decided to cut their losses and kind of float around and see what else they can pick up in mid and or A.
30 seconds left.
Shadows traveling.
Okay, smoke is going to go out on to Garden. Heaven is also going to be attempting to smoke Apples. And Murky throws out a blind in response, but Boise State gets the first pick. It's traded back by Danny. For a piece, J-Bag now puts Boise State back up toward 1. Enough time for them to plant up near the generator. Valley has struggled. Oh! Not sure that was an angle you needed to take.
Great area, but oh my gosh, the utility comes out right on top of it. Switch class, just can't quite find it. Boulder to grab another now. It's 2v3.
Oh, no.
They're looking for it, but the ult from a distance.
Post-plant.
Last
Trying
player
to slow
standing.
everything down just a little bit, but Boba on the site to take one now. Volk with the defuse, all of them rushing in. He's not going to be able to find it. They're holding from oh my goodness, 12 the 11. Irvine Valley would love to find another, but here it is. Boise State would love to shut things down and go see a bathroom break, bring out the Icebox map.
This is the last possible round that we could avoid the O word.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember, I'm blaming you if it happens. Because we are flirting with it very dangerously here. Boise State also is going to be forced onto a few budget picks as well. Everyone's having to settle for the judge. That's
Get out
Skies.
of my
Skies
way.
has the 9. So pretty standard play. Still technically a full round purchase, I suppose, for Boise State. Owl drone moving out. They're going to smoke out. Through. Oh, gets hit with.
Oh no!
Not expecting that turret at all.
It's such a gamble too, because guys wants to play melee, and when that owl drone goes down, it's uncomfortable. Decides to sprint in, and he's just totally distracted. Gives a shot to it, and once they hear that judge shot, they back up a little bit. He runs out, and he can't switch to 2 fast enough. It's all right though, all said and done. It was a 2v1 trade. This chaos, they made a rotation to get out all the a plant. They've already thrown up appropriate utility Peach Cobbler, looking to find a way to sprint. That Cloudburst is wasted though. He's gonna pop the knives, looking to secure this round and bring him into overtime. Boise State trying to hold it down to the end. All of them position is able to reply.
One enemy
Oh
remaining.
wow,
Oh,
what shutdown.
one left.
Boise State with only 1 player and 2 halves of a player on site left, all in the Mexican standoff.
Cover going out.
Yeah, oh, he gets it. Oh, we're heading to game
Attackers
3.
Boise State narrowly avoiding the overtime, pushing it on to a game 3 at Icebox. So give them some chance to cool down, and they'd love to jump right into it.
I need a break myself.
Yep.
We're going to take a short break and be back with round 3 on Icebox because this couldn't be any possibly closer between Boise State and Irvine Valley. We'll find out who the winner is after this.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance. Home is where you hang your hat, snuggle up, hide out. Home is when you're with the ones you love. It isn't just a place, it's a state of mind. At Idaho Central Credit Union, our home is Idaho. We grew up here, and we're proud to help more Idahoans with their home loan than any other financial institution. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe home is where you make it.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. If you've just joined us, we got a real barn burner on our hands between Boise State and Irvine Valley in Valorant. Both these teams facing off in NACE. Both teams are 5-1 currently, looking to go to 6-1. And Boise State just clutched out a victory on the second map, Ascent. So that means we're going to go into a full Game 3 on Icebox. I'm your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Greg Smith. And tell us a little bit how the Broncos are feeling on Icebox.
Yeah, should be looking fantastic considering the Icebox is one of our best played maps, statistically speaking. They're also just comfortable to go see it. And looking at the trajectory of the games, we had a very, very tight loss on the first one and a little bit looser, cleaner, no overtime situationship on the second one. So we'd love to see an easy win on the third moving into Icebox. Icebox's roster pick is a little bit different as well. Hopefully we won't see an overdependence on Fade or on Jet in this next one, but you never know. I'm hoping to see Sage.
You can only hope. It's always nice to see a Sage play be brought out. We know for sure we're going to be seeing Viper. That's just one of the must-pick scenarios. But it's nice that, with Breeze out of the map rotation, we've gone down from 2 maps where Viper is a must-pick to just 1 map where Viper is the best pick. So
that's very true. And as we were talking to the agents on desk a little bit ago, Breeze is an all-gun map. Very open, absolute playground for the Opper. But not so the case with Viper on Icebox. I mean, the reason that we want Viper on those 2 maps is so they can cut up the open territory. But the territory on A side for this map is already a little bit divided. I mean, it's called by the community the maze.
Yeah, A is a lot more enclosed. Man, I'm trying to think if Boise State wants to go for a Sova again, because that's been the main thing that's been kind of separating these 2 teams is the initiator. Why don't we also get some info from our own Doc Haskell in Valorant? That's going to be to focus angles and flank, know your win conditions, count cards and call abilities, and of course, Click heads. Thanks, Doc. I'm sure that didn't occur to them at all before this. It's Doc's Keys the Game, brought to you by Drop In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. We're ready to head into Game 3, Boise State versus Irvine Valley on Icebox. Coach Moore was telling us that Boise State considers this to be their best stage, so as a decider, it's not too bad. I'd also have to see just overall who overall chose it and who's still choosing the side on it, because Boise State in the last two stages started out on defense.
Yeah, I know that Boise State picked defense after the bans came out on the first one, which means they'd be picking either offense or defense for this side, which is interesting because that would tell us that Irvine actually chose Icebox. And I mean, it's a little bit scary to think that, because if we said, oh, Boise State kept in pocket their best map to bring out as the deciding factor in case they wanted to bring the big guns. Not the case. Irvine Valley may be saying a similar sentence on their side of the screen, so Boise State could be, although in comfortable territory, against someone working from home as well.
We'll just have to see how everyone does in this blistering cold
Of wherever they're at.
I think it's Antarctica because there are penguins. Remember, that's the way you
Right?
deduce.
Does the Arctic have a
No, Arctic does not have any
a
penguins.
biome-specific animal?
Oh, there it go. Oh, man. That's a great pick off of the turret onto Rariana. Turret can always be a pain when you're in a pistol round.
Toxins going up.
Yeah, it kind of gets a boost when
Toxin
it's just
screen
as strong
down.
as everybody else. This toxic screen going up just to surprise people. Irvine Valley doing well so far. Looks like that Sage insta-lock that we've got from both sides is coming out as we see a heal go to the Jit player for Irvine Valley, but to no avail as it goes down. A dart shot off to a slow start. Not typically what we expect from a pistol round. Usually it's guns a-blazing. But with Irvine Valley playing interesting games like buying very up on the second round, Boise State can't let the pistol round slip. It's been more influential than we usually
30 seconds
see.
left.
J-Bag,
Enemy down.
with brilliant timing, finds the flank, switches classics. Skies exposed. Watching two on low health.
One enemy remaining.
Find one.
Last
Skies,
player
though,
standing.
before going down.
Oh,
And look
wow.
at that closeout. Skies with the 4K. Just a couple front teeth from the ace.
That was quite insane. I mean, he was down to low health. The situation demanded a perfect shot. But Boise State was on point with the headshots across her placement. No complaints there.
Yeah, some near surgical plays here. J-Bag and Skies carrying the round.
It's also kind of interesting, Skies so low on health, did not go for the overkill, but that would have given away his position too, so.
As I do my best to eavesdrop here, it looks like Boise State might even be considering a timeout.
Alarm bot down.
Though it looks like they didn't go for it.
I always call a timeout the first, after a first blood doesn't go in my favor. That's when, I count a timeout. It's like, hold on a minute,
Now, wait a second.
let's talk about this.
No, my Pop-Tart just got out of the microwave. That one's not my fault. Irvine Valley with a real split push here. Just kind of sprinkling their players all over the map. It's not going to work. Skies still feeling hot off the last one's going to grab
Wow.
another two with a Bulldog in close range. And more damage on the next. Look at that. Rariana holding the mid by himself. He's going to grab a quick rotate over to A when
Bomb
the maze
grenade
has
out.
been bought. And Rariana grabs another one through just util alone. And Danny looking to soar through the skies. Whoa. What happened?
Player standing.
Toxins going up.
What even was that? I don't think his crosshair was even on his head. Well, Boise
Toxin
State,
screen down.
very...
With precision and methodicity, gives the enemy a haircut.
30 seconds left.
Rariana has officially called for a pause.
And probably OO base. Daimyo closes it up in round two. What was that? on and calling him out in the chat.
That is strictly not allowed.
They did the hokey pokey and turned themselves around.
But you know, what if it really is what it's all about?
Turret out.
See, you couldn't even have a response because
There's
that,
no
that
response.
hit you on a very
It's
spiritual
philosophical,
level.
really,
Yes,
yeah.
Meanwhile, Boise State, no major philosophical questions for them to ask right now. It's just a standard case of the bonus round.
Can't use that
Maybe
yet.
they can get an early pick. This guy sure can. I mean, look at this guy. Almost all the picks he's gotten have been headshots.
I'm baffled. This guy's where have you been? He's playing hot. He's playing good. Alden with the slow throw coming out. Against the five before this game are absolutely shutting things down. All of the utility has switched. It's less vision denial now, and it's more slow. Yes, you're slowed by slow orbs earlier, but this fence, this wall, it's a little bit different. Alden looking a little bit high, gets caught in the neck by Pete Cobbler. What a throw punch. Irvine Valley bringing it up to the 3-4, getting the first
Spike
plant out
planted.
in a long time. Boise State looking to rotate around, but people aren't even on site. Skies looking for that beanie as he looks over this wall, starting to solidify. Take out that turret. Info is out. Skies now eyes on the spike, looking to find someone. Oh,
Player
Skies gonna
standing.
take out another one. Tabola and Danny to close out the round. Irvine Valley finding their one. All we could expect, and Boise State did a little bit of damage, but that has been pretty typical. 2 rounds to the first player and 1 to the one capitalizing on the off foot of the bonus.
Okay, I've got a bit of a question for you now.
Let's hear it.
You were talking about the Hokey Pokey earlier.
Oh no.
Who owns the publishing rights to the Hokey Pokey?
I had hoped it was public domain. Are we going to get censored?
No, well, a recording of it is it's one of those songs that's been around for a while, but like the modern version still has a copyright on
Really?
it. So who owns it?
Who is it?
Sony.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Microsoft can have Activision Blizzard now. Sony's got the real goods with the Hokey Pokey.
Unreal. And the Giants, they really just own everything.
They really do.
What's
So,
wrong with small
I-
businesses owning the Hokey Pokey?
I think we already owe them 15 cents for just saying it at this point.
That's a tough one. That's a tough
All
one.
right, back to the game itself. We just seen an owl drone being thrown out in mid. It's going to get a heek onto one of them. Actually spots out 2.
You should run.
A whole lot of information given over to the Broncos. Empress popped by Boise State. Irvine Valley is going to use their lockdown in response. Back just a little bit. One of them at Rariana actually gets detained. It's under some good cover. Oh, they just saw the one person
Spike planted.
detained and immediately went on the hunt for Rariana and paid off.
They're dead.
Can J-Bag bring this back, however?
One from a distance. He's definitely got him off to a good start. Irvine Valley has pushed themselves onto one
Last
side of
player
the site.
standing.
Oh, J-Back caught in the melee as Murky finds him. Sky's now not in a very comfortable position. We've seen him do more with less. Man, they have got him under the magnifying glass.
Wow,
Find one.
that's big for Skies. He
Feeling
does get
safe.
the overheal, throws out the leer, baits out the defuse. I don't know if he's looking the right way now. It's an uneasy
One enemy
dance around
remaining.
yellow. He does take out Danny, though. And he can't defuse this, but as far as I'm concerned, in putting a dent in everyone's eco, that's a job pretty well done.
Did fairly well. And that snake fight is not entirely on the point. Murky just had to ditch it and fly out of there. Yeah, definitely an excellent work. Taking it up to 2v2. Boise State down with guns though, and just creds overall. Look at those half shields coming out.
Turret out.
One half shield for Irvine Valley as well, so it's not as if they're exactly rolling in it. They can just barely get their rifles for this round.
Revealing area.
Early dart. Bounce off. I do not know where that was heading.
Was that-
did he mean to throw that without the deflect? That is out in the tulips and out of bounds for that one.
Could be a cross.
Luckily, there's no penalty stroke in this game for going out of bounds.
That would be a good one.
Oh, that's a great pick around the corner from Volk. Now looking for Rariana. Casually hit behind, one shot with the Sheriff, but Peach Cobbler is there to keep A open for Irvine Valley, and that is indeed where they are going to plant. They throw out the Viper Wall.
Viper Wall is going to slow them down, but not quite enough. They know that nobody's there. They've counted their people, and now Merchant getting a quick plant when Daimyo is pulled up in the corner underneath. He's going to try to go it alone without the help of his rotating member, who's almost on above. But after the turn now, he's got to fight off the people that are already up. Oh, into it. Oh, wow. Daimyo, excellent play there. He's going to find one, but still, the countdown ticks. And after a quick gun switch by J-Back, he's going to be found out. He's got to be the body. As one goes into the defuse. Spray transfer was almost a bad call there. And Daimyo looking for something else. Just a 1v1. He's got to defuse. The clock is so low. Trying to get this man out. He finds him. But the snake bite. And he's vulnerable. Unreal. Murky. Second round in a row, throws himself into serious danger to drop a snake bite onto a onto a spike that's about to go off anyways. And this time it paid off better than the last. Irvine Valley bringing it up
with
to 3-2.
everyone dying. I mean, this eco problem that we've had beforehand is only going to be made a bit more severe because everyone is trudging through these rounds like they're mud. It's just no clean wins whatsoever.
It's a good way to say it. Trudging through the mud, leading to no clean wins.
Get out of my way!
All right, Irvine Valley starting things off with the knife.
They look what ult they have. Sky says it's not enough. There goes your healer. So those knives better be all you need. They keep dropping the ice, though. Trying to make their way down count. Ooh, what timing. As Alir goes out and the knives are following after Aldem. Make his way around the card here. From the overhead camera, we see the awkward situation set up, and no one is allowed to step foot onto the site. The cross vision is dangerous. Irvine Valley with the spike being held at the bay for another 91 seconds. Sorry, 60 seconds.
Toxins going up.
Scanning ahead. A whole lot of laughing coming out of production, but it might just be laughing through the pain at how long this round has gone on. Meanwhile, I mean, this Viper Wall is buying a lot of space for Irvine Valley. They're moving up slowly.
Welcome to
Down B.
Wow.
Denied on the
30
Viper
seconds left.
spit.
I think that's a speed run. I think that's
That was
Flip it.
wicked. I mean, she was welcoming us to her world, but it was a quick welcome and then goodbye. You know.
we were allowed to see in the door but not walk inside.
Well, goodbye. I need to see that again. That was
Man,
beautiful.
almost-
Yeah, look there.
Oh, jeez. I think that's an L cancel strat. You don't have to watch the entire Welcome to My World animation if you just die immediately.
That's true. That is true. I'm not quite sure what next level strategy that is a part is. If the animation cancels the game of Valorant is really that big,
Oh,
but
it's critical.
it's critical.
3v3 now. Boise State up on the ultimates. Can we say that's fair? I don't know. Irvine Valley losing 2 ultimates last round.
I don't know. Boise State could use their ultimates and then immediately get taken out.
It can happen. Speaking of immediate takeout, though, one of Irvine Valley's ultimates that Boise State doesn't have is the res.
It's probably. Ooh. Well, maybe they can use that res right about now.
It's an option for him.
Okay, use the Hunter's Fury instead.
Oh, and hits the Hunter's Fury. Daimyo almost takes one. Gets the KO. Sorry, the KJ to very low health. Both, though, to find them. Now, still a 1-1. The health in great places. Skies with the overkill. Feeling hot, looking to grab another one. Wow. Gasping.
He is unstoppable on this Empress.
Oh, disgusting.
Another one!
What? The red highlight is all he needs.
Sage should be able to win this just on Empress. Ability catches the
what?
Sage while they're looking through B. And Boise State wins that one cleanly.
There's been some good combos, like that peek shot and keep watching. Like, he knew both of them were there. And that walk up the ice wall when you know he's got his back turned to grab him on the most dynamic. I mean, you don't have to be strafing. The wall is literally carrying you so that any good headshots hit shoulder. Oh, what a play. This guy's here, just playing nasty. He saw his foot, and he knows exactly where the head is and plays off of it while simultaneously watching the entry points. I mean, he's just playing so good right now. Boise State 4 points up against Irvine Valley's 3.
Oh my goodness, this is a huge flank. They're not even looking. Oh, I thought he would throw that away. That was some sloppy crosshair
At
placement.
least he took one through the wall there. But yeah, that's why you always have to be jiggle peeking. Never stand still. You never know who's behind you. Irvine Valley avoided an absolute shutdown, but Boise State still comes out ahead, and look at the smokes. Oh, what a dance! Daimyo now not expecting this one on his plate at all. Alden, the Res Variana, bringing up to a 3v1 as Murphy is shutting things down. Alden to end with Rain. Wolf finds one before going down on a beautiful trade, giving Boise State a 2-point lead on their deciding map here at Icebox. It's intense.
It is pretty intense, and Boise State isn't having to spend too many ultimates to win. They spent Pleasant Res, but granted that is the most influential ultimate you can spend. They are going to force Irvine Valley onto another eco. I think the main story, though, is Skies. I mean, look at it. He's 17-3-1 already, and we're not even into the half.
That's a good ratio.
I didn't get my degree in math, but I'm pretty sure that's positive. J-Bag setting up the snake.
Take flight.
That off the wall. J-Bag already eliminating Peach Cobbler.
Yeah, off to a brilliant start so far, but Peach Cobbler could be back in the game if they think it's worth the 7 shiny balls. Ariana to find another one, though. Now it's a guaranteed 45 at the very least. Aldem takes one down before going down. What quiet trades. I mean, we haven't gotten a whole lot. Whoa, they're so close. Right on top of each other, everybody is. Looking at now Ariana drops down to the shot by the 2. Bowler on the 3K.
One enemy remaining.
Default, and it hits one with them. That ult is off the board, and he saw him running. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous play here. Boise State almost guaranteeing another one. Danny, he's got the spike, but he doesn't know what to do with it. He's just kind of peering through the window, but concerning a full rotate, a 30-second fly
30
to
seconds
A-site.
left.
But here's the thing, Boise State had a much bigger person advantage than 2-on-1, and they kind of threw that away, so they got to just make sure that they're disciplined on the 2 remaining that they have. 17 seconds left. Slowly moving over to A. He'll have this open. He will get the plant down.
10 seconds left.
He's going to do it up top. That's a free 300 creds. He could.
Spike planted.
He could go for the nest.
Oh. Well,
Yeah, it happens.
just have to climb back into the tree.
It's all right. Yeah, you've got backups.
Not every time that they toss you out of the nest you fly.
It happens.
Okay, Viper Wall goes up, trying to get Boise State a little bit more cover. They'll try to get on the lineup with the dart. That gets him. Oh my goodness,
what a tough
ruthless.
What a beautiful dart. I mean, that wall is paper thin. The only thing that doesn't get through it is light. So you can't see through, but you can shoot straight through it. Now, Daimyo, with so low of health, is able. Oh, no.
That is not a round the Broncos should have lost.
No, it's not. That's unfortunate. I mean, I thought that was in the bag back when Danny was on B site. He got his splint, flew around the world in less than 80 days and was able to plant the spike and defend it from afar through 2 walls.
And then just immediately with the wall bang working off of that dart.
Yeah, repositions, grabs another dart just for intimidation, drops another one, gets him way off the point. Daimyo has got to get back up, and it's all part of the plan. No.
Viper's pretty early. Closed A off entirely, but you know, maybe Irvine Valley didn't get the memo. They're still going to try to push through it. And they don't. It doesn't look like they like to look at that.
No, they don't, but they're still here.
Amazingly.
I wouldn't be. I mean, it's an interesting setup because Boise State kind of expects them to still be there. Oftentimes, we see the early ult popped by Viper on a site that you don't want them to be at. So you only have the Viper there, and sometimes some KJ
You should run.
Or maybe a chamber that's ready to rotate. But
Well,
only
okay.
1.5 players there. Wow, the KJ's coming out. 3 ults on one spot
We get another lovely Venn diagram.
with an extra circle coming from the Viper, who can't leave.
Okay, 2 players detained. 0 players
Ooh.
detained.
But they leave. They run out, and the Viper's pit stays.
Okay.
Interesting. So they didn't
Seemed like a whole lot spent for nothing, really.
Yeah, what a cold war.
Because the Vipers, the reality of the Vipers
30
pit was
seconds
still
left.
very much a thing on A. Trade 1 for 1
Spike
on
down B.
Cobbler has claimed the high ground. Oh.
And after a quick res,
Last player
your trades
standing.
are null and void.
Spike planted.
No take-back scene. Irvine Valley finds a 5th point. Boise State, that early momentum and that early ahead is all gone away. Though, we can say that we think that Irvine Valley usually plays better on the attacking side regardless of map. So, Boise State holding them off like they did last map and maybe coming out with a nice 6-6 in the half could be a good chance to find the win here. And it could be tight, but all they need is the win. So Boise State now wants to get their 6th point so that even if they throw away the rest of the half, they're still okay on the last, hopefully, 6 rounds. Cobbler to find a quick one onto Daimyo.
Out him with a stinger. Not necessarily the gun you want to start your comeback on. Cobbler's very low on health. He moves through the wall, tries to move back, but is caught out.
It's only a trade, and now 2v4, not a great position. Bola getting the plant out, Sky's playing forward, just can't find the head fast.
Spike planted.
A little bit of no good plant there, that's a fun one. Now looking to make their rotate on J-Bag and Sky's last 2 left alive, and Irvine Valley has kind of rotated off a little bit, and they have a wall they can put up. Sure enough, there it is, pop. Already seeing some more utility though, just shutting down the point. Skies. There.
Last player standing.
Oh my
God.
God.
J-Bag gets greedy with the defuse, and they take him down through the walls simply by knowing where they planted. Irvine Valley.
Last
grabbing their
round
6th
in
point.
the half.
Hopefully the Creds are in the favor of Boise State so they can bring it up to an even half and be looking at least okay.
We were talking so much about Skies being at 17-3 and all these rounds later. He's still at 17, so the Skies party has been shut down
A
thoroughly.
little bit of a plateau for sure, and Daimyo, look at this. They're really strafing here. Last before the half. He's got half shields. Boise State needs this point. Walking into the next one at 5-7 is just not going to be comfortable. I mean, if they lose... Oh, Peach Cobbler finding the knives early. If Boise State can't take this one and they lose the pistol round, it's going to be such a
Spike down A.
So this is a big deal. So is the next pistol round. 2 ults to close things off fast and early. Daimyo's going to find one before going down into the knives. Knives are finally seen by Skies with the AR. Mariana looking to sneak around this ill place. No, stays behind it. Kind of caught underneath. They keep just throwing a utility after it. Spike is still in the air, and now it's on the ground as Skies gets his 3K coming back, proving us wrong. He's up to 20-6 now, and defenders take it. Rariana finding Danny.
Switching sides.
All right, we head into halftime, tied at 6-6 again.
This is it. I mean, we've seen, you know when Rocket League maps go to like a 5-5 and you say it's basically a 0-0. This is it. One map and one half.
This is first to 7.
Yeah. Wow, that's weird. It's a little
I
awkward.
never thought of it that
Yeah.
way, but now that you mention it,
It's first to 7.
it's opened up my worldview.
They each have a map and a quarter under their belt, and they need better than another quarter.
Okay, I
to
didn't
finish
think
this
about
half.
it that way,
Yeah.
to be honest. I've never thought of the term map and a quarter.
Yeah, they both have, half a half. So after a quick extra 3 seconds of staring at the blue screen buy round, the walls are unleashed by all of them looking to take ground. They're already hungry for those old orbs, investing so much utility into just giving them. Bola gonna have to fight against all of them and his Penguin. bit of a rotate here just to get an inch closer. He's got to watch out for this one above. Good thing he is checking. He's going to start knifing it out. While J-Bag comes around from below. Peach Cobbler's going to find it. Peach Cobbler, I want to see their first blood stats, because it's got to be either them or Skies that hold the trophy for that one.
Find a bit more information for Boise State. They're going to run right into the swarm grenade. Oh, I don't know if he actually saw KJ there.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of screen contact when he was moving away. Almost getting in an early plant, but he might not know he's right behind him. Like someone wanted to venture out far enough. Now to find a Daimyo sidewalk. Finds a Danny to reply. It is so tight. Boise State down. They don't want to lose this pistol round. It could lead to a dangerous snowball here on the icebox. Skies from a distance. He's got to fend off, and he just can't do the combo with the Ghost is simply done different. Finds his third kill, and Irvine Valley with 4 alive. Moves into the next round. Boise State is just so close. I would not be surprised if we saw a tactical
Standing ahead.
around now.
I appreciate the call out, but
Although
though I would agree with it.
Yes.
Boise State, they're going for it. They're going for it. They're going for it.
They're doing the thing. They're doing the thing.
They're doing the thing we were talking about.
Hopefully it works out for them, and hopefully they're able to reach in and snatch a point they don't deserve, like stealing a cookie from the jar when mom's out shopping.
You would be a great leader. Go and steal the point you don't deserve.
Toxins going up.
All right, they're going to have to go into a whole lot of KJ util here on A. Moving around the corner, trying to play around this Viper wall. Ooh, as a unit, they're able to dislodge Bulk.
Yes, then they're playing just the way they should with the guns in the hands. It feels like they really are just running in and stealing it. Like you just had to get in and get the plant and get out. Alden with an early plant, and they've got 1 kill under their belt. Boise State, all of them a little bit of damage here and there sprinkled on them, but they're feeling okay. They've really set up the site in Irvine Valley. They're now going to make their way in. Trying to distract this. Not all. Beautiful angle, but it's not there. Peach Cobbler and Murky both to find one. It's not as great as we had hoped for. Skies from underneath is going to find a wall, and a little bit of heal is all they need on this overheal. Can they last? They find another one. And a gun switch for the melee kill. Finds another, and now it's a 1v1 J-Bag from a distance. Just waiting. Trying to throw things out. They know they're not close. No! It's Cobbler to take the 4th kill on a J-Bag. Can he make it back in time despite...
No, he can't. Boise State's still going to win it.
Ooh, what a clutch, though. And that's the... he tried. And that's the kind of win that I guess we could ask for in this just reaching up.
Well,
to just really scrape out the last little bit of creds to buy a stinger for everybody and go flying in.
all I have to say to the team is nice win, guys. Greg thought you didn't deserve it.
But they, you know, but they proved themselves. They got it.
They also have an Empress now in their pocket due
do.
to all the work.
Oh, and wasn't
This
that
is such an awkward 3rd round here.
7-7? Not often to see that one. Yeah, the Empress is out, and it may have to be Pop to fight against these knives from Irvine Valley. We've got the Owl Drone coming in.
Standing ahead.
Begins.
Wow, he's just
how are you getting away?
What a game of Ring Around the Rosy. Just barely runs away. You can't let him have that. The heal is already coming out. All that work for nothing. Get the Empress out there. Murky on the back foot. As Skies has already taken Peach Cobbler. All them going into the plant. Almost no pressure. Look at them. They're so far out.
Big time for a win for Boise State. They can't let themselves lose another 4-2. Let's take them a long way now.
One enemy remaining.
Out, there's just one left. Was got crosshair placement with the Sheriff, however. Has the time. No, guys wins that one. Boise State is back up 8-7. just have one game where both teams don't get double digits. That's all I'm asking for. Oh my goodness, Sky's already. He's almost up to a 30 burger.
I will say last week we didn't get to see it, but there was an under the cover behind the scenes match that Boise State took convincingly, strong and fast, and that's what got them from 4-1 to 5-1. So it has happened. We don't get to be there for it. It didn't need commentating, but they did it. They did get a beautiful win across without double digits for all. Boise State. Hands on the side and a flank in the pocket. Take a good one here, but it's not going to happen. He has the free card, which he can redeem at any local Valorant for one free kill.
There you go. Man, that would be so broken if you had a card that you could turn in.
I'm sure.
Oh my goodness, Rariana almost got a collateral on that.
It's scary to go in for a double peek and have a man behind you die. I'm sure he's living out.
What the heck is going on in the direction? I hear him singing something. I have no idea.
Last player
it's
standing.
that point of the night for all of us.
Here he is, Volk with 2 kills. Rariana trying to fend him off. Oh, absolutely pinned him down. It's 8-8, 1 little inch at a time. Boise State takes 2 steps forward and 2 steps backward. Just dancing in place. Just doing the foxtrot.
We've graduated on from the hokey pokey to the foxtrot. We're classy
Irvine
now.
Valley and Boise State dancing the tango.
Charleston.
Bachata.
Oh boy. I mean, I'd have to take a look at the scoreboard again because it seems like it's been win-loss, win-loss, win-loss for the second half.
No, it has been Ballroom 101 out here.
Standing ahead.
Boise State. Gonna play hard and fast, keep them all together. Skies walks the fence for a little bit. Joining everybody else on ground. Irvine Valley. A tight hold. A slow rotation. Hell for a big round on A. So much to say.
Joseph's gonna go through the snake, but no, he does make it out alive.
Got to heal if he can wait for it.
Peach cobbler, my goodness.
He's just right behind you every time. I'm gonna take one Skies and find another. Get right out of there. Decides to walk into the most dangerous territory of the map, that overheal, giving him a sense of pride and confidence that outweighed his HP. Right, Irvine Valley with almost a defuse. Spike diffuser does go down. It is a 2v2, but from what a distance, and there's no good lineups for it.
One enemy remaining.
Who is going to
Last
be guarded
player
by
standing.
Danny, despite a good 1v1. J-Bag looking for something. All he has to do is put the time, just be offensive. It's not going to be there. Is it? No. Oh, he was so close. J-Bag. So unbelievably close. Just had to play for time.
I do like that phrase that you just dropped, though. He's had a sense of pride and accomplishment that was beyond his HP. Thank you for summing up so beautifully.
It's bit off more than Pikachu to a whole new level.
I mean, that's just Valorant right there.
It is.
Sense of ego is vastly bigger than your actual HP. Oh boy, we're moving on. Boise State has to get a victory here. Doesn't want Irvine Valley to go up to double digits. First engagement is going to be taken here, but Peach Cobbler is hanging out there, so that makes it a risky route to take. Wow, Boise State playing this nice and slow. Has 3 ultimates in their pocket, including that all-important res.
This could be the home stretch. Boise State with a large split push has decided to make this a gun game, taking their battles all over, all in the last second eye contact. Got himself in an awkward position now. He doesn't know that someone's right beside him. To make his way out, throws in a slow. It's one player down for Irvine Valley. Boise State could collect if they wanted to. They've already got all the rotation out on B side, and the spike is making its way up A. It's all the right ingredients. You just got to put it in the oven.
30 seconds left.
Okay,
Welcome to
here they
my
go. They're going
world.
to put the Viper's Pit down for that extra bit of defense, making
Right
that
on top of
retake.
the spike. Rariana, disrespectful. No, he's so close. He finds one, and they pin him to the corner. It's all right. That's extra time on the clock. We'll take a 1 for 1.
Oh, no. Okay,
Oh,
but that
never
this
mind.
res.
Now close
Yeah,
your
yeah.
Out of
Still
charges.
44.
You can just get out of that kill rate. Oh, no, I don't think J-Banks can make it.
Oh, got this guy's holding the corner. He's fighting against the utility, but it's not enough. Danny finds him, and look at that. They're sitting right on top of it. Bolo with the easy.
Last player standing.
It's a table banger. They're not happy about it. Boise State now down 2 points, are also down a digit.
Wow, that was tough for Boise State. That's why that res is so instrumental in every single game. It's essentially making sure that the round you're fighting 6-on-5, which very difficult to do. Also, great use of that Killjoy. Kind of threw Boise State off of all their post plans. I mean, they spent the Viper's Pit to try to secure their positioning, but just a few quick ults spent
And now
by
look
Irvine Valley.
at this neutral. Boise State was willing to forego one more point and put them in to the threat of technical overtime just to have a big utility and gun difference on the next round. Sky's already taking a first down in phase as we see another big split push. Boise State just kind of walking unsure of themselves. Daniel again, another one to just take one to the side. One more in mid being hunted. Volk finds him. Rariana, it's just not good right now.
One enemy remaining.
And from below, Danny and Murky find Aldem. Boise State has had nothing to say this round. J-Bag, the last bastion, makes some eye contact. Can he find somebody? He shut down the flawless.
Wow, Bola has a great point coming through here on two.
All the way around. Cobbler. I mean, it's so much sure to get a kill. J-Bag goes down, and it's almost felt unfair. Good thing it was a save, though. Boise State looking to play with full guns. Has got to shake it out and has got to take. He's got to take 5 points before Irvine Valley can take their 2.
I don't think I'm going to be in the mood for peach cobbler after this.
No.
It's not going to be the dessert I
Not
have.
for a while.
I mean, really, peaches? I mean, everyone knows the most traditional cobblers are made of fruit north of the Potomac, not the south.
Oh, yeah.
They spot out Bola, get to an early advantage, but they still got who we were just talking about. Each cobbler still hanging out.
Placing swarm grenade
Square
out.
him in, though. Got some utility behind him. Send one out front. Absolutely no problem. Just takes him. More utility out front. Finally, not gonna happen. They line up. Dangerous all. For,
You will not kill my allies.
What? Oh, all of them pulls it. I was like, I thought they killed it. They did. All of them gets it. That's good. We like that. 5-3.
That's a
on site.
Oh
What?
no, the Hunter's Fury!
That wasn't even default.
Spike down.
That wasn't
B.
even default. They just went for it. They've been reading the books. They have studied up and wow, shut down the healer. Now, a 4v2 still in okay position, but in the long run, it's not looking good. They have to be more secure than this. Rariana has the chance for a shot here, and the timing is all wrong. Now, the Peaker's advantage. Oh, Rariana. Looking for something, it can't be there. Tries to play behind, make more eye contact.
One enemy
Find another
remaining.
Dino to reply. It's looking okay. Attackers to find another one. Boise State now, so close to those double digits they'd love to have.
Irvine Valley has had enough wins in their pocket that they can just roll it back on all of their purchases. Go back 2 full ARs.
Yep.
Boise State, I would think that maybe they want to try to get this plant down quickly, because with the Hunter's Fury, that's going to allow them a lot of great post-plant control.
And that, yeah, post-plant scenario is looking good for Boise State's kit as long as they can stay alive to get there. Because they also have the one leg of the Venn diagram here. They've got the lockdown.
That's what I'm calling it now,
Oh,
the
that's
Venn
so
diagram.
And sure enough,
Okay, let's, yeah.
this site first. Now, we've seen classic scenarios of them
Oh,
dropping that.
I'll call that a Venn
Wow.
diagram.
There it is.
That's going to force all of Irvine Valley back. Just all this hopping by the stage. There's no Hunter's Fury now for them to use, but Silva's still going to use the Shock Dart. So, seems to be calling out pretty where Boise State wants to plant. Peach Cobbler, though,
Oh, no.
Boise State aware of this
Oh,
flank.
they were, but they weren't.
Headshot.
Amidst the darkness, goes in for another and gets melee. Peach Cobbler goes down top before taking one. Now at 2v3. The spike is planted, but Danny's on the defuse. He's close. They have the Hunter's Fury. They're going to drop it.
Last
There's
player
nothing else for
standing.
intimidation, and all the way down. It's not looking good. And the calculation
enough time,
comes out.
no.
There's not enough. It's 9-12.
Well, overall, a bigger lead than Boise State had on Ascent. They were able to
Match
get to,
point.
I think, 12 and 10. So Boise State is going to have a 4-round win streak. In fact, 5-round win streak to win, 3-round to tie it.
We can take it to an overtime. I'm willing to settle for an overtime.
Man, that was great. That was a great kind of call by Danny there. Probably figured the Hunter's Fury was going to come out in the post-plant situation, and instead used it as kind of just traced it back to the source and was able to get an easy pick.
He has no option other than consecutive rounds. Oh, all of them off to a bad start. Very well on the has to get that heal over these guys, though. Doing well on his side of the forest. It might rotate from Irvine Valley to be in the more successful zone after we've already seen a little bit of utility be thrown to center and thrown to A. But no. They decide to position otherwise. They're forcing one further up B and are approaching on the A and the short. Volk going to be the first icon that Rariana gets. Rariana not... He's picking his battles for sure. Doesn't want that. Moves right away. All right.
Was that you calling the game or throwing the most shade I've ever heard? That's the first eye contact he ever got.
So, sometimes my call-outs are unnecessarily disrespectful.
Meanwhile, Boise State is up to a one-person advantage trying to defend on the post plant. Ah, it's going to go even larger. They can pick up a rifle from that as well.
One enemy remaining.
Call up by Sky.
Oh,
how are
no.
you still alive?
Takes another one. That is not good. A 2v1. Definitely one away from a 1v1. He is right on top of the spike as well. It's awkward to playing that correctly with two people watching. And look at all the utility that's just being dumped. He's got to get out of there. Murky is okay with saving around and keeping his
Toxin
HP.
screen down.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
And it looks like a rifle is saved from Murky's side, and Boise State gets to keep their 2 as well. So it's going to be a buy-up from Irvine. How are Boise State's creds?
Not good.
Then again,
Trying
though,
to-
they have no other option.
They're trying to find a way to spread things around.
Alternating shields. Yeah, it's an interesting way. It'd be nicer if all the money went into one big pool. They could have done it. There's a couple thousand here and there that could be getting people to shields, but it just doesn't work that way. And look at this scatter. The map is messy. Spike and Pocket just watching mid with help from the turret, while 2 on A and 2 on B are hoping to find something, some kind of 3D peek, some kind of 3D look, some kind of utility bait. This guy's looking to play forward with their team being guided by the Owl drone. Get shot down and they know from where. If this is an evenly distributed defense, they can assume the right side of the map, or right side of A is clean. So they start moving up. Annie watching from above. They keep posturing A. Both teams have
Oh, they just get out of range that out drone. Excellent. Nice play around it. They're not not going to walk into the KJ util. Very slowly they move up. Oh, they missed the shot with the darts.
More darts after Pablo uses that as the capital. Dino has no option. He gets the plan fast with defender Killjoy is already out. It's going to be an easy move because they can't do something about it. They decide to move off the site instead of going in after. They should have no problem, but he's got good sight lines. This guy's could be the saving grace here. He's got to time it just right. Know that that's a safe corner. Bolt doesn't dare keep that corner. This guy is trying to play against the defuse. They get his attention, but they don't get him down.
One enemy remaining.
Dino and J-Back finding their one. Bola, another, and then the res. J-Back from distance trying to knock whoever's defusing is so intense and is not going to be there. Volk with an easy defuse to close it out on map 3. Difference by 3
Defenders win.
Well, my goodness, what a round game that was. Probably not often where you see it go all 3 games and each one both teams get double digits. So that's probably one of the closest, longest Valorant series I've ever seen. Although it still doesn't hold a candle to the 1917 overtime that I still had 2 weeks ago, and I'm still going to let everyone know that I had to suffer through that until the end of time.
Yeah, that's one to definitely try to get all your worth for this, because that's ridiculous. I mean, we've seen almost 60 rounds tonight of game, and just tooth and nail, a real nail biter, down to the very last penny every time. That was intense.
Now, here's the interesting question. We have to name a player of the game. And
That's
normally
true.
the default would go, oh, well, this person got the ace. But there were multiple choices now in that question. So who do you think you want to give it to?
We definitely had some excellent aces today, and Sky's got a lot of great first bloods. I think on Ascent, J-Bag does a great job of being the anchor. We saw Rariana really pop off in a couple of cases. Usually my easy out to this question is just saying everybody on the roster's name. So I think I'm going to go with Skies.
Alrighty. Well, okay, right. You took. Then I'm gonna say I think it was Damio who got the other ace, didn't he?
I don't remember.
You know what? Maybe we can have our questions answered in a few
Yes.
replays that are going to be brought out by the player of the game. But I'm pretty sure it was Damio in the first place on Haven. Really insane sheriff play on in lobby as well. I'm still questioning how that just seemed almost too perfect. But right now, we're going to take a look at who the player of the game is, who production has given the ultimate nod to. Looks like it's going to be Skies. Oh, it was Skies here who I was thinking about who got the, yeah, this was the play. Boom,
Just ridiculous.
boom, boom. And then on there for an ace. I am still questioning how that even happened.
Yeah,
no
that
matter.
was ridiculous. And the third one, that's what's crazy about it. Because hitting the first two, that's a typical, like, you let one walk past and then you get him once you see the next one. But then he had to strafe over and see a third one on flick alone. And then, absolutely ridiculous.
Well, Skies is the player of the game, and it is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like how Idaho Central helps its members achieve financial success. Skies is going to be your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Well, I know we've talked about so many different things. We've covered so many interesting topics, from the hokey pokey to who owns the copyright to it. I can't possibly ask you for any final thoughts, but do you have any more final thoughts just about the game and the match that we saw? What do you think overall decided it between Irvine Valley and Boise State?
That's interesting. A lot of time it's, I feel like, just resolve. I mean, it was tiring just to watch all of that. I can't imagine being behind the WASD for that. So I'm surprised that they made such a good big push and fought down to the very end. I think they did fantastic.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for us tonight, but we'll leave you with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. But that'll do it for us tonight. Enjoy your top 5 plays.